the other person that has less than a year experience of playing D&D, right?
Yep.
Me or no? I thought you were asking me. Never mind.
I have less than a year.
You're pretty new to it, so we will be asking questions. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
Oh, I DM with a group of several really new people. I only have about a year of experience. Actually, it's been like 2 months since I've had my first year of experience. So I am totally understanding of that, and I
Questions
understand
will
that
be asked.
I
Mistakes
under.
will be made. Deal with it.
Oh yeah, no, I totally understand. I was in several groups with a bunch of new people, and I actually enjoy it because it's nice to see like when the buyers click, you know, when they do like, oh, that's what that does, and I'm like, yeah, that you got it now. Like that's that's what that spell does.
Oh, so talking about that, I have such a great idea for a character. It's not going to pay this much. It's way too pay up.
Play with younger players when you play for 14 other people. It's those moments, when they have their first moment at something. It's like, oh, I remember when I first did that. It's like you sort of have your reminiscing moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait. What was that spell?
Actually, I gotta go run and get something. I'll be right back.
Okay. Also, I posted the video link in the chat if everyone wants to listen to it. We need to make a song like this, Fluffy.
He's not going to be able to. Fluffy doesn't know what this YouTube Fluffy does.
Guiding bolt?
Guiding bolt?
Guiding bolt, yes. Building guiding. I can't read. ADHD.
Guiding bolt?
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to make a song like that.
Well, if you want a really good song, right, yes, it is already a song, but watch it over the clip and you'll laugh at it, because this is you eventually, Fluffy. Just watch the video fully, and you will basically see what you become when you start to learn divine powers and relations with your god. You're fine.
Well, hello.
Ready?
Someone's watching Shrek 2.
No, I'm watching Vox Machina.
Yes! Big magic! Oh, I won. Oh, I won. If that thing is D&D for that, I won.
Hang on, which thing are you talking about?
Ice thingy! Ice wall! Ice thingy!
That's Ice Storm, and it's a druid druid spell. But what you want is keep going a bit until you see the little golden one appear, the golden wonder. That's you, basically, what you can do.
I'll watch it later.
Yeah, we're gonna get started any second here. Just waiting for everybody to be back, and then we'll jump
I'm
in.
here. I'm alive. Whatever that may mean.
Likewise.
Here, you have at least 2 hit points, so you good.
Fluffy, Fluffy. Quickly press play on that. Trust me, you'll see what I mean immediately. That is the ability she uses there is a combination of astral projection, cast by her deity, and just being a badass. Because a lot of people don't realise that astral projection is a lot more powerful than people give it credit for. You aren't just hopping between dimensions, you can stay in the same place.
I am back, by the way.
Just doping the big guy out of this one with a golden light.
It was an undead giant. She just literally tore it in two.
All right.
Oh,
Do
I
we
did
have
to
everybody here? Oh. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, my lady.
So, is there any like nature gods in this realm?
Yeah,
Because
and I
if
can.
my world does become a warrior in this domain, I don't think gods will transfer into different realms. It'll just be easier to make it.
Depends on the god.
Yeah, I say some gods, and even some warlock patrons go between dimensions occasionally, just because why the fuck not? They can do whatever they want. For the most
They are
part.
celestial deities. They literally just snap them
That's why
because
I'm
of the
wondering. That's why I'm wondering. That's why I'm asking the DM. Is there a nature god? If
Yeah. So, I can get more information about that for you. I have some religious landmarks set aside on here. Let me see if there's anything that is in Waterdeep that would actually fit your character well, and that can kind of inform.
That and I totally forgot, Savannah, we get to the magic item. So that's a thing
Oh
too.
no, I froze my magic item.
Oh, you already got that? Then never
Yep.
mind. I didn't see it in your inventory.
Yep,
It's-
she had the spatula of naughtiness.
The robe of
I have
useful.
the robe of many.
Oh, you settled on robe with useful items? Because I didn't put the in. Okay. Yeah, I didn't put the info for it in her.
Maybe she hasn't done it yet. Maybe she hasn't done it yet.
Okay.
The very nature just teleported into this world of existence and is about to jump in and fight. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, Gary's jumping in a fight. He's going to bad up the box. Well, I say
Oh, I
bad
should-
up the
Oh, I should prepare my spells. What spell should I prepare?
Probably something to heal everyone.
True. You guys will be just going, yay, look!
No,
Well-
you'll be going, yay, broken bones, where Gary's just punched somebody with his metal fist.
All right,
Ow.
we're gonna get started. We have a couple new people, so I do want to start off with some short introductions. We'll do character introductions as your characters are introduced. But if you want to start with your name, what time zone you're in or what state you're in, have to get super specific. And then how long you've been playing D&D, and then we'll go from there. So if one of you wants to kick us off and give us some info about yourself, I promise I won't steal your identity, but I do want to know who you are.
I can go.
Does anyone else trust her with that when she says that?
I mean, you can steal my identity. You'll just inherit like $40,000 in college debt. So like.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Really don't want to. So.
You'll be
That'll
worse
go
off
on
than you
top
would
of
been
mine.
before.
I'm
be worse off than
on a
before.
lot of different lists.
Go ahead,
so,
take my college debt.
That
Yeah,
does not surprise me.
I was going to say, I'm on quite a few lists, so you probably don't want me.
So my name is Noah. I've been playing now for about a year. I currently am DMing one other group, and I've been unfortunately not had a good run of it with groups, where groups end up just falling apart. But I'm from the Eastern Standard Time, specifically Michigan, and I'm looking forward to playing with a bunch of new people, I actually really like that part of the D&D. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Welcome to the group, Dylan.
Question: when you say you're from Michigan, do you watch Rob Walcheck and the Hall of Shame?
I do not. No.
Damn it, man! Come on, that's bloody Michigan gold. I watch it. I'm in England.
Okay. Hey, I apologize. I'll get on it. I'll get back to you with my remarks when this is done.
It's all on YouTube and it's funny as fuck. It does them every week. Yeah, it's brilliant.
That
I'll
is
go
great
next.
for Rob Walcheck.
Alrighty, and then forgive me, I don't know if I know your name, but our other new face. You want to go ahead?
That's in me.
Yes.
Name is Steve. I'm from Wisconsin, 24 years old. Pretty new to D&D, but I played the Dragon Age tabletop for about a year now.
Very cool. Welcome
Welcome
to
to
the
the
group.
party.
Yeah, I'm originally from Wisconsin, so cool to have a couple more Midwesterners up here.
Ooh, hiss, New York.
You're just mad because our football teams are better than yours.
Our football teams aren't even in the state except for Buffalo, so I don't even. I'm not going to argue that.
Let's not speak for the Michigan people here. We have the Lions, which that's just.
Okay.
I've been
Yeah.
I've been a New Orleans fan for 2 decades, so don't look at
All
me.
right.
I
Fair
have
enough.
something I can say to me all. Who is not from the traitorous country that was seceded from the greatest country in the world? Do you remember that?
You're just back in this one.
I had to cough.
Because we lost 70 years.
So,
Well, look at the shithole. We got a better country still.
Flower, what was that?
I said shouldn't go back to introductions.
Yes. So Steve just introduced himself. Noah introduced himself. I'll give a quick intro about myself. Everybody else kind of introduced themselves, but if we want to do another once around quick, just where you're from, what your name is, and then we'll jump in. That'd be great. So I'm Savannah. I'm DMing. I live in Florida, but like I said, I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I've been playing D&D on and off for about 3 years. This will be my first official time DMing for strangers, but I have DM'd a bit in the past for some friends. So that is me. If anyone wants to do a quick intro, there you go, Drew.
I'm Drew. I'm from New York. I have been playing D&D for a certain amount of years. I'm not going to mention because it makes me feel old. And yeah, I've been DMing I've been DMing a Baldur's Gate campaign bi-weekly for the past year with a couple of close friends, but I wanted to get some PC time in. I started playing so I could eventually teach my little guy, and I am located in New York City, Queens to be specific.
I'll go next. Hello, you can call me Fluffy. I've been playing D&D from one get down to probably like nitty gritty, probably no more than half a year. But I have been listening to D&D podcasts. Sorry about that. I live in the middle of nowhere called Unarmed.
I actually have a friend up there.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing up here. But you're either in this central place with everybody or you're in the middle of nowhere.
Fair enough.
Hi, I'm Rocky. I also live in the Midwest, and I've played a total of like 2 one-shots. Well, a one-shot and a starter box.
Nice.
Very cool. And I think that leaves Jason.
I'm Gary. Nice to meet you. I'm a kobold from an advanced civilization of hybrid kobolds living out.
We're not doing character intros yet, just in case you're wondering.
Oh, no,
We're
I
just
know.
doing personal.
That was personal. Anyway, no, yeah, I'm John. I'm from the UK, and I am a psychotic nut job who plays a bunch of kobolds. Or clones. And I'm named Gary.
There you go.
That is
Cool.
awesome. That is very interesting. I'll be honest.
We
Trust me, people think it's interesting till they get to know Garys. When they get to know Garys, they suddenly realise, oh shit, we're in danger.
All right, so my people who joined us for session 0, you already know this, but we're gonna go over a couple ground rules just so we're all on the same page. I'll keep it super brief because I normally want to play, but first, some of the expectations or things that you can expect from me. I'm gonna be showing up in the Discord ready to answer questions at least 15 minutes early, if not a half an hour early. I'm usually accessible by chat whenever, but I'll definitely make myself available in the time before the session to answer questions, and I can stay a little bit later if needed. I do work on Tuesdays, and I have a regular job and I have to get up early in the morning, so I can't stay too late, but I can stay a little bit later if needed to talk about anything. Our sessions run from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. If we decide as a group that they need to be a little shorter, I know we have one person that needs to take off a little early tonight, so if we decide to change the time or the length, that's fine. We just need to have a brief discussion about it. That being said, I will begin and end sessions on time, because I know that everybody has a life and we're all adults. I want to make sure that I'm honoring everybody's time correctly. But when we are playing, expectation number 3 is I'm going to provide an immersive experience for all the characters, so I want to make sure everybody is digging into their background, digging into their characters. Everybody has a chance to really get what they want out of this, so I'm gonna be as fun and immersive as I can. That being said, if you're not enjoying your character after a couple sessions or whatever, let's have a chat. There's, I'm not gonna hold you to a character that you're not enjoying, so just let me know and we'll work it out. Expectation number whatever, I believe in the rule of cool rather than the rules as written in most cases. I think if things are neat flavor-wise and you want to do something that's a little bit abstract, even if it goes against the rules as written, as long as we talk about it first and you give me a second to process it and you're okay with me saying no, then I'm good with pretty much, doing whatever is most fun. And then as far as timing-wise, or as far as time goes, we're going to have a break for about 10 to 15 minutes at 8:30 each session. I know this is during most people's dinner times and some people have kids and whatever, so I want to make sure that everybody's able to do that. Other than that, if you have to go to the bathroom, you're an adult, just let me know in the chat that you're going to be missing something, but you don't have to ask for it, just go. And that goes for most things.
May I go to the toilet, please?
Yes, I'm going over expectations. You've already heard this, as long as you can
Don't need a
fulfill them.
refresher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, phone calls, whatever, try and keep them to a minimum, but it's, whatever. As far as my expectations for you, I expect that you're going to be on time and start at 7. If you're going to be late, just let me know with as much notice as possible. And I said this last session, but if you're going to be late, as a way to pay me back, you do owe me a picture of either your favorite pet or your favorite animal. That is what I will take as notification that you're going to be late. So, just heads up there. Cool. So, other than that, participate in your character and support the party. No person is an island, so make sure that everybody's getting to do damage. Everybody's getting to talk with NPCs. Everybody's getting a chance to explore and do the roles. If I find that one person is making all the rules, I'll probably ask somebody else to chime in. So it is what it is. Communicate your needs. So if there's something that you need or you don't feel like I'm doing a good job at something, just communicate with me and I'll do whatever I can to fix it. Please maintain attention. So again, we're adults and whatever, but phones to a minimum. Please don't be playing other games or, having personal conversations with other players while we're in combat or whatever. That, it's just distracting. And I want you guys to be prepared when it's your turn in combat, so, and I'll, I mean, yeah, I would prefer that. And then kind of the last major thing is I really don't want people looking up monster NPC stats. No metagaming in general would be my preference. Well, no, not just my preference, it's kind of my one hard and fast rule. Please don't be looking up monster information. It's my pet peeve, yeah, so. And then really super quick, we talked about this again last time, but how do we feel, especially the new people, about player versus player combat or whatever. What we had established previously was it's, it can't detract from the story, and we decide when it's appropriate together, and we can engage in it together if it makes sense, but it doesn't come out of nowhere and it doesn't derail the story. How do you guys feel about that?
If it makes sense for the context of the situation, so say if two people are having an argument and stuff.
Well, is it going to be to the death? That's my one question.
I would say no. We'll do. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be non-lethal.
Non-lethal.
I don't think there should be any player deaths by other PCs. It's gonna be non-lethal if any.
We
I'm
don't,
just like-
we don't play this by PCs unless the person, has done something to.
No death by PCs at all. I'm gonna say that right now.
Yeah. So for sure. Yeah. I mean, I would be fine with it. Specifically, my character, I don't think he would ever really pick a fight with somebody in that regard. But if it were to happen, I would be opposed to it. And if it's like I'm a big story believer. So if it adds into the story or the situation or what's going on, then I'm perfectly okay with pretty much everything. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Well, that kind of goes over my ground rules. So I'll do a very brief overview of what we did in session 0, just so everybody's caught up. Last session, we introduced the characters. So in our party, we have a couple faces of unknown class. Hold on, let me pull up everybody's characters. I can't remember. We have a monk. We have... We have... Yes. We have our Nightblade. We have Gary. I don't know what Gary is.
We have a Gary.
We have a Gary.
Just say we have a Gary.
Yeah, and now we have our cleric. So that's the party composition so far. Currently, they are at the Yawning Portal in Waterdeep. That's in the southern part of the city. And they came in and met each other. There was a loud boom, and Gary and Fluffy came in from another dimension, but destroyed their dimension device. So
Gary on the floor because he was falling down the Yawning Portal, and when she threw him, he crash landed on the device.
Would you have rather let Fluffy just let you drop how many feet to your death?
Well, no, but I wish she'd at least just pick me up and not launch me.
I'm sorry, you were slippy. Just slip. Oh no.
So, so anyway, so bringing us back into our quick session refresher. Towards the end, we had our bard who had gotten quite drunk because Gary had to buy everybody drinks to make them not pissed off at him. And after the bard got drunk, we had a little duet that raised everybody's spirits in the bar. And after that, a friendly face who's known to most Waterdavians as Volo, approached the characters. He requested the presence of, I believe it was, is it Leith?
Yeah.
Requested the presence of Leith and started having a chat when all of a sudden a brawl broke out amongst some of the tavern goers. So I'll drag us right in. I'll set the scene a little bit and then we will chat. So I have the... Sorry, go ahead.
Gary didn't charge headlong at them.
How could we forget?
I am going to pause us.
Hey, people, let's do that.
I'm pausing us
Sorry.
before we get to that point because I need to set the scene a little bit and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So I'll read the snippet and we'll go from there. So I put the PCs all together over at the bar right now. If everybody can kind of see where I'm hanging over here.
You can't see. You've got the fog of war on. You have to reveal the area.
Stand, okay?
Mhm.
That should have been already taken care of.
Oh, that's how I do it. Okay, I figured it myself. Don't worry about it.
Because right now, yeah, we're seeing a black
Not.
page.
This is what I was
It's a
dealing with
very
before.
beautiful black screen. Very nice. Very
All right.
nice.
Thank you. I worked very hard on it. So
I can tell.
spent all
I love the statement. Just
day.
we are all meant for
All right. I guess I have to give you all vision one by one.
No, you should be able to just
Well, it's the way, because it's a pre-built campaign. The way that I have to give
Okay.
vision to
Okay.
players is a little wonky. It's not ideal. I will figure
Copy
this
that.
out.
I'm learning new thing. I learned a couple new things tonight while I was setting up the character sheet too. So don't worry. We're yeah.
Is
Well, I
there
appreciate
any
it.
way to make the character sheet bigger? Thank
Yes.
You should be able to just drag it from one of the corners. Let's see. Alright.
So yes, Fluffy.
Sorry, oh, look at that. Give me a second before we go back into the story. But oh my. You can see. You can see.
Yeah,
Yep.
I need to give the new Gary
Look up.
Yep.
It's
Alright.
I can't see anything.
Alright.
You actually believe
Alright. Everybody should have sight now. Can you see the tavern and
I can see.
Yes, I
all
can.
its glory?
Yep.
Alright, cool. Yeah, that's the only annoying thing about this is that I have to
See it.
individually give everybody vision. Hi!
They say hi.
How's the game? The game's good.
He said building game
Oh,
because he sees the thing. But okay.
that's
I'm gonna mute. I'm here, but I'm gonna mute for a little bit.
okay. Not a problem. All right. So now that everybody can see, I have our PCs sitting over here by the bar. If you can see where I pinged, right across from our lovely barkeep. His name is Durnan. He has been a help to the adventurers and a friend. And if you could look over here, currently we're engaged engaged in a combat that you can nearly not see because there's a huge crowd of people surrounding it. Is a fight that broke out. But first, to set the scene. You sit around a sturdy wooden table lit by a brightly burning candle and littered with plates cleared of food and half-drained tankards. The sounds of gamblers yelling and drunken adventurers singing bawdy songs nearly drown out the off-key strumming of the young bard 3 tables over. Then all of the noise is eclipsed by a shout. "You pig! Like killing me mates, does ya?" And then a 7.5-foot tall orc is hit with a wild, swinging punch from a male human whose shaved head is covered in eye-shaped tattoos. 4 other humans stand behind him, ready to jump into the fray. The half-orc cracks her knuckles, roars, and leaps at the tattooed figure. Before you can see if blood is drawn, a crowd of spectators clusters around the wall. What do you do? And this will be the start of our very first combat. And I will say for our new friends, I haven't forgotten about you. We'll do a little character introduction with your characters actually meet each other after the fray, but you will all be in this as well. So I'll turn it on.
Last session, Gary rolled and charged into them and basically pushed his way through the crowd because of his exploits.
We're gonna start fresh and go in initiative order for that. I understand that that's how we ended last session, but I really think we need to start fresh.
So even the new people roll initiative, right?
Even the new people, everybody rolls initiative here for me.
Roll initiative.
Quick question. 1, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 2, am I at the bar or am I over by Volo?
You I didn't actually place you over by Volo. Volo is sitting, I think, over here, so I just dragged your character to where he would be.
Copy that. And 3, I was gonna say for the ones that were looking to roll for how to roll initiative, click on your token and then click initiative on your character sheet, and it should automatically add it to the turn order. Sorry, didn't mean to just jump in. I'm just like,
No,
Yeah.
no, always welcome.
so with your token highlighted, you click on initiative, and it should roll it for you and put you into the initiative order.
Would that be dexterity?
No, that would be if you look at your character sheet up top. It says
Okay,
initiative. Yep. Dead center.
Oh, is that it? Is that it?
Wow, we did not roll high.
Hasn't rolled yet. Yeah, there
There
you
we
go.
go.
There you go.
Mine rolled, it just didn't pop up as a.
Interesting.
Did you have your token selected when you hit it?
I'm gonna try to figure out how to use it.
Is this
Yeah.
for Oliver?
Oh, there we go. That it worked out.
okay.
You can give me a 3 if you want. I'll take it.
I'll take the better of the two. No worries. And then we're still waiting on Oliver.
Yeah.
Oh, did it not go through?
Yep. Roll for
Yeah, make sure you select your token. That was my problem.
Yeah, even as a DM, I always forget to do that, and I wind up having to input all the initiatives manually. So.
Alright, let's see what order there.
I fed the dogs.
So functionally for myself, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have them all take their turn at once. Just for the sake of backtracking.
I was just gonna message you pro tip, just for each type of monster, just that, and make sure that you have a token, that you link it to a token that's off the map, because when you delete the token, if you delete the token after, like, say we take it down or something like that, if you delete the one that has the initiative on it, it's gonna delete the initiative.
Got it.
Just for how Roll20 works.
Interesting.
Yep.
Alright, well, that being said,
Please.
no promises, just kidding. That being said, we'll go ahead and get started. So top of the order is Leif. So you, at this point, have seen the crowd form, and you can just see the top of the half-orc woman's head, kind of above the crowd, and you just hear like skin against skin.
All right, so I'm sitting there with Vogel right now, so I'm pretty much I'm gonna politely excuse myself, and I'm not gonna rush it because I don't know what this is about. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to
Wanna leave your door open?
there's a nice check on
Check on the dogs.
Yep, as
Mark
to
my
just,
section.
yep.
I was just saying, move to just about there. I'm gonna hold my action until someone takes a swing at me, or until
Yeah,
kind of insert myself. So
that's really loud.
I'm just gonna hold my action until I either need to defend myself, or something gets within arm's reach of me that I need to help out.
Fair enough. You can go ahead and remember that you held your turn then. All right. Next up, our new friendly face, Delarin. Our PCs don't know you yet, but what action would you take? And I guess what were you doing in the 15 seconds leading up to this fight?
Delarin's definitely just sitting there with an ale, just like minding the fire. It's kind of like, minding his own business. He's not unfamiliar, but not very well known to this kind of area, so he's not really paying attention. When a fight breaks out, he's immediately going to be like, training kicks in, runs over, and he's going to immediately just stop at the edge of the fight and like ask the one person right in front of him, "What's going on?"
So you're kind of on the edge. That guard that's closest to you, or not the guard, the bandit that's closest to you. You can recognize that he's kind of in the same sort of garb as the people that are engaged in the fight, but he's standing off to the side, and he turns and looks at you. He's like, "Don't you see? She's all pissed off because she's got all these hormones, and we happen to run into her friend because she's part of this shitty group called the I don't even remember what they're called. These are just the craziest people you know. The Zentarim. I keep hearing that name, and this fight is just because she has all these emotions about our friends getting killed, or her friends getting killed, or somebody's getting killed. It's ridiculous, and he's just sitting there fuming, watching this from afar, from the edge of the crowd, almost a little pissed off that it looks like he can't get in through the crowd to join the fray.
Do I recognize any of what he just told me?
Are you from Waterdeep?
Sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. Are you from Waterdeep, or have you been in the city long? Suppose we should establish that.
Here, I'm gonna leave and come back because for some reason nothing you're saying is coming through. One second.
Can anybody else hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
There we
Yeah,
go.
you're coming through okay on my end.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay, perfect. Did you hear what I had said when I was doing the little rant from
Yeah.
Okay.
I just asked, like, what do I know and recognize any of this?
So it kind of depends. Are you from, or is your character from, or have lived in Waterdeep for a while? Are you local to the area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't recognize much. You'd recognize he's being like a little sexist, but that's not local to Waterdeep. So no.
Do I recognize if this is a fist fight or a sword fight?
This is a fist fight.
Okay. Well, he's gonna go. It's not very nice to talk about women like that. And then he's going to uppercut the guy.
All right. Go ahead and make your attack.
15.
All right. That will hit.
Ready, and he takes 5 bludgeoning damage.
All right. Wait. That's your base. There's no rolling, right?
Yeah, there's no rolling, it's just base 5.
All right. Well done. Okay. And next up is Gary.
As Gary sees all this, he looks to Fluffy. Throw me.
That's Gary's turn because it's got to wait till it's Fluffy's turn in initiative to use this improvised weapon.
Holding action.
All right. Holding action. So we'll move on to Fluffy. Fluffy, it is your turn. How do you respond to Gary's request?
Probably not the worst Gary's ever heard. Gary saying, throw me. So I'm guessing she just picks him up.
All right, make me a strength check. I'm guessing is probably pretty heavy.
I can actually say this much. She can already lift me because she can lift near 500 or 600 pounds.
Yes, but she throw.
It's how accurately, right? Is what you're looking for,
Can she
Savannah?
throw Gary, who only weighs 92 pounds?
I'm trying to see if she can throw him nearly 20 feet.
No. But you can probably...
Strength would just be strength. I just will
Straight. Let's go straight strength.
Technically athletics.
Nope, we're gonna
Athletics
go
is with
strength.
proficiency if she's got it.
Normal
We're
roll?
going straight. Normal.
All right. We'll say with a 12, and given that you're already
What?
strong, he can get to this first guard here, which is close to the fray. So
Hang on, is the
15
guard
feet.
part of the fight?
He is part of the fight, and you'll land on
Good.
him.
Gary's gonna land on him and start punching his head in.
All right. So Gary, go ahead and move.
We wait on top of him.
Sorry, I have a quick question. Does
Sure.
this only add your +4, +1 or whatever to it while you roll it?
This will add your proficiencies and your
Okay.
your any bonuses you have.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if it did it's also +4. But
Yes. So
don't worry about it.
When you hover over it, Fluffy, when you hover over it, it'll tell you what the what was rolled. So if if you hover over it, it'll say 1d20 plus 4, with that being your strength in brackets, and then it shows you the actual roll, which was an 8 plus the 4 to equal 12.
I have a quick question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
go ahead.
striking advantage due to the fact I'm surprised attack. I don't
Yes.
think you could expect a flying metal kobold to come hurtling through the air and hit you in the back of the head.
Yes, I will say yes.
Either way, I roll the second. I did. I got 12. So 12.
12 will hit. 12 will hit. All right, I need to.
9 damage.
Oh, plus 5. Oof.
I get, right, versus unarmed strike, which is 6 blunt force damage. I have Iron Fist because I am metal. So I do 1d4 plus 5.
Is that from the Warforged stats?
Yep. Because I use the original Warforged, not the newer one.
So, what do you mean, not the new one?
They just released a new update that they changed.
Ah,
And
interesting.
I'm using
They,
the old
they changed a
one.
lot of them because they discontinued Mordekainen's and Bolos, and they
Oh,
put it
interesting.
all under. Yeah, they put it all under. What the hell?
Basically, it's the multiversal guide to madness. But
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the one that just came
I'm
out. Yeah.
using the OG version back from when they first made Warforges. I'm using that one where you can actually select to have integrated armor.
I
Got it.
have a question because is it still my turn? Would
So-
it or just count throwing him will be my full action?
So you'll still get an attack. We'll call it. So you'll still have your movement.
And bonus, I think.
And bonus. Yeah, you'll have your movement and your bonus. I'm gonna let Gary finish out his because this is, we'll call it the tail end of his turn.
So 9 bludgeoning damage, and he's just gonna metal kobolds landing on him.
There you go.
How does
All
he
right.
fare?
Let's see. I need to drag you to the side just so I can get him over. Okay. He's not looking so hot. He's kind of looking maybe like he has a concussion. He's not down. He's squashed, but not terribly squashed.
He's probably trying to wrestle the kobold off.
At this point, I don't know if he can, but he's trying. So, and you're you find yourself very close to the center of the fight. There's maybe one person that's really in your way, but not a part of the fight, just a bystander. So now we'll go to Fluffy. You can take your full turn.
Okay. Do I have to roll perception to see like who's closest to me as the people that are in the fight? Or would I just?
You can roll perception for me if you want, because it is a little hard to tell with how many people there are, who's part of the fight and who's not. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a circle of where the diameter of the fight is.
Kind of like where everyone's just like chilling like a mosh pit.
Exactly.
Basically, it is a mosh pit, just a mosh pit full of fight. Well, actually, a mosh pit is full of fighters anyway, isn't it?
So that's kind of it.
Think that is.
So perception, with that roll, you can tell that there are a few people that are wearing similar garb, but it's hard to distinguish without seeing who's actually fighting. If they're really, if they have any skin in the game. You know, there's a lot of people that are looking very angry and very pumped up about this fight. You can't tell whose side they're on.
With a social warrior
So-
video on the other side.
So she'll probably just move close, try to get as close as she can to the actual people who's fighting, to basically see A, who is Gary fighting, and B, who looks like they're getting basically see who she needs to help, who's getting overwhelmed and teamed up.
Okay, got it. I will say that after Gary landed on one of the bandits, most of the people kind of in this section did kind of clear out. There's one or two people that are still blocking your view, but you're able to see Gary now in bits and pieces if you wanted to try and approach where Gary is.
Coming out of the guy's head as Gary's pummeling his brains out.
I'll probably try to move closer to Gary.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and move your character.
For story's sake, we'll call him Dave. Dave is getting his brains pulled out.
Yes, Dave is getting beat up by Gary.
Probably move that.
Friends with Phil.
Okay, cool. All right, next it's gonna be
I'm
the
still there.
bandits. Next, it's gonna be the bandits' turn. I'm gonna go clockwise, starting with the one that Gary is sitting on top of. So this one first. He is going to try to make a strength check to get you off of him.
And then I need to cancel.
Yep. All right.
Just a quick question. Would he have advantage due to the fact he's currently, well, his head's like a metal beam, right?
I'm rolling the bandit with disadvantage because he's concussed and prone.
That's what I was wondering.
Yes.
So in that case,
Well,
does that
I've-
mean I get advantage then because I'm on top of him and doing the concussing?
Nope, he already has disadvantage, so I'm not gonna double that. Just do oppose strength. Yeah. All right, you did beat his strength, so he is going to remain prone and cannot get up, so he's still in there. All right. Next, we'll go to this one. He is going to make an attack at Yagra because he's not really paying attention to any of you fools. Okay, I didn't mean that, guys.
Does he want to get his head thrown out?
Oh, I'm the one that called you a fool.
I was
Fools.
gonna say,
I pity
if
those.
he pities us fools, I'll be pitying his head in a minute once he lets it fall.
And he misses terribly, so that was his turn. The one that was just punched in the face by our friend, is it Delarin? Delarin. Okay. Just punched in the face by Delarin. He is going to swing back because he doesn't feel like that was fair. So now he's kind of in a separate fight over here.
Dirty fighter, dirty fighter.
So let me just roll. Does a 15 hit?
That's not.
All right, then he like kind of he does punch, but he like hits your shoulder almost like he's doing like a buddy like, hey, what's up? Not intentionally, but he just has poor aim with his fist, so he does not hit. All right, and then the last bandit in the fray is this guy over here, and he is also going to go up and try and make an attack over at our half-orc fighter over here. Let's see. And he not only misses, he falls flat on his face. So he is essentially underfoot of some of our other
What he rolled.
I pity
Flat.
you
Oh,
all.
holy
on his-
20.
So that is that's where he's at right now. Let me go ahead and put
Who agrees with that one? I pity the orc count fights.
All right, that was the bandits. Next, it is our friend Oliver's turn.
Well, because I have no business in this fight, not knowing what the heck is going on, I'm going. I was going to walk to the ball.
All right, you can absolutely do that.
Go for it.
So somebody knocks your drink over and you just fall out.
So I think I can go with 30 movement.
If you want to, you can double your move speed if you're not going to do anything else with your action,
Yeah.
so you can fully get
Dash. Yeah. Might as well.
There you go. All right, next is our big boss fighter, the human male, who is, let's face it, he's like 5'3", so he pales in tallness to our half-orc friend. So he's gonna swing against her, but he's not looking so hot himself at this point. So let's see.
Hey, Wolverine's 5'3".
That's true. I'm not saying he's weak. I'm just saying he's short.
Gary's
Okay.
only about 2 foot something, so you can imagine he's not exactly the biggest. He's not exactly the biggest.
All right, he manages to hit her. Let's see. She
Sorry.
takes.
Are you telling me a man just hit?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Right, well Gary's gonna bring his skull out worse than the other guys.
Probably right.
All right,
Very
well,
few.
don't
a lot
worry
of feminists
because
in this group. A lot of feminists in this group.
doesn't matter
Don't
because
like
next
Gary's
is
just a gallant hero.
And the only female slowly making her way over to see what's going on.
Question, DM.
Hmm.
Before I take my turn, would I be able to finish out my action as I'm seeing this happening?
Yep, you can absolutely finish your action now. I'll hold her turn. So
Okay.
if you want to go ahead and move, or well, you've already
So-
done your movement, but
I was gonna say, let me see, because I've got like 35 feet. I moved like 20 of it.
you can go ahead and take the rest.
I was gonna say, get myself into the thick of it. Just pretty much, that wasn't very nice.
So there is kind of a crowd of people there. So let's see, what would I have you do? I could just make it difficult terrain and half your move speed. That's not going to make a difference though. You'd still be able to get.
That would, because that was 15 feet. So that would
Oh.
be my total movement.
Let's say.
Or you know what? No, that would put, even with my total movement, that would still
Yep.
put me right about there.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do for the crowd. I'll make it a difficult terrain to push
Okay.
through to the front. So
All right, so I'll just get in, and that's not very nice. And the guy that's prone pretty much is gonna kind of stomp him out as I'm locking eyes with the other guy. So I'm doing this, the guy that just went in. Let's
Got it.
see. Roll, and that's normal roll. Okay. Wait, would I get advantage on that? Oh, never mind.
he's prone, but I don't think
need the advantage.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that hits. So.
Monks, ladies and gentlemen, 7 bludgeoning.
All right, he's looking pretty down and dirty. I mean, if he wasn't already down and dirty from rolling around on the floor and getting kicked,
And
now
I'm pretty
he's
much
really-
just like eyes locked on the other guy. This was like incidentally as I'm passing this guy, I just pretty much just did a stomp on him, and like he kind of groaned and walking towards the other guy. But okay, that ends my action conservation.
Works for me. All right. All right. It is still her turn. I just accidentally forwarded without thinking, but she is going to unarmed strike the man that she's fighting. Let's see. She hits, and she does just about enough damage to bring him down because he was not looking so hot before. So those of you that are towards the front of this little crowd or able to peer through the many people in front of you, you can see that he's got like a broken nose, a slack jaw. He just spits out a tooth because she socks him right in the face. And if you were to try and say something mean to her now, he would probably have to bite his tongue a little bit because his teeth are all out of order. So he's looking worse for wear, and his bandit friends are starting to get a little concerned too. So they kind of, despite what they're doing, regardless of what they're doing, all turn their attention towards her again, as if they're going to pounce on her. And we are back at the top. Oh, nope.
Question.
Nope.
Do you allow free speech actions?
Yes, speech actions are free, but try and keep them to your turn. I mean, I understand if there's talking.
Oh no, it's when they're all gonna pounce her. Gary was literally gonna yell, "Anyone touches her and I'll fucking send you to the 9 hells." I'm assuming they all literally just saw Gary teleport in here, so they know he has the capability. They don't know it's broken. It's only his sword can send him to the 9 hells.
All right, and last up on our turn order is Jorik.
I think he's just gonna saunter on over to the chair that's just north of the cobalt, pull it out, and just sit in it and watch everything.
All right. Do you want to ping on the map where that is? Is that this right here?
Yep, that chair.
All right. So it is going to be.
I love it.
It is going to be difficult terrain to pass. So what is your movement speed?
30.
30. So you can get to, let's call it 15 right here, and then the rest will be difficult terrain. So you can move.
Well, I could use my action to
Yeah,
get
do you
there.
want to use the dash?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, and then you can make your full movement over to the chair then. It's kind of a badass move, just running in there and
I
pulling
respect
up that chair. I respect it a lot. Yeah. All right, and now is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
All right.
Just
well,
watching
that's
it.
the turn order.
Question for Jorik. Do you put your feet up on the table and kick back with your hands behind your head?
Oh yes, very much so.
Okay. Alright, so... another question, because we never established this. Is drawing a weapon a free action as part of the attack?
Yes.
Copy that. Good. Okay. So, monk is gonna monk. We're gonna walk in, and the guy that's got the shiny kobold on his back, I am going to whip out a dagger and then with my bonus action, I'm going to use martial arts to get the guy that is currently attacking to do an unarmed strike against the, for lack of a better term at the moment, gentleman who's instigated this gang up.
All right.
So, first off, the dagger attack against the guy with the shiny backpack. Is that normal or with advantage? Because it might be flanking.
We'll call it with advantage because regardless, he's prone and has
Yeah,
a
so
heavy object on him. So
copy that.
Oh, thank you. I'm heavy now, am I?
you're made of metal. What do you
Well,
want?
I
me
am.
to do?
Technically, I am called a juggernaut, so.
Okay. So 18
alright.
to hit.
Absolutely.
All right. Damage is going to be 8 piercing damage.
Okay, and that'll be enough to finish him off. Now let me ask you, are you doing this stealthily or in the full view of everyone?
Also, are you doing it lethally or not?
Let's put it this way, and I'll let you interpret it however you will, DM.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to take him out of the fight, not intentionally trying to kill, but if it's incidental, I feel that with the martial arts training, that I'll let you decide based on how you're going to interpret my role, as either I did so well that I killed him, or I did so well that I kept myself from killing him.
I'll go with the latter. I think you,
Okay.
as someone who's very familiar with Waterdeep, would recognize the code legal, and that it is more trouble than it's worth probably to kill someone in the public eye. I'll trust that your character would know that. So
All right, so
we'll go with.
Head open like a watermelon.
essentially I just like incapacitated him. Maybe I'll even lose a dagger for it for the moment and put it, because I've got a few of them, and put it through his shoulder, pretty much pinning him to the ground.
Shoulder, got it. Shoulder, thigh, foot, whatever, got it.
Yeah,
All right.
something to pin him out and to put him in so much pain he's not going to be dealing with anyone else.
Well, you successfully do that, and he is pinned. He is out of the fight. He essentially faints as soon as he sees that there is something driven straight through him. So he's completely unconscious. And
And
you were
now-
going to take a bonus action.
Yep, bonus action martial arts, do an unarmed strike against the guy that is currently in combat with the orc. They have
All right. The tattooed gentleman.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, that's normal roll. 24 to hit. Jesus Christ!
That,
Why have I never played a monk before?
Well, it absolutely hits.
Another 7 bludgeoning.
And
On
that
hit.
is enough to knock him out. It's almost like you tap him on the shoulder, and he turns his face to look at you, and he's got this scowl with his crooked jaw. And
Just as a
can-
kick's coming across his face.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. And he skids. Let's say he goes back
I love it.
into the crowd 5 feet, and he is just out, down for the count, out cold. And at this point, the bandit friends, or not so friendly friends, that are watching this and close enough to view are intimidated enough, especially the other one that's prone to your right. And they start kind of like trying to make their way out of the crowd. It's almost like you can tell that their next action is going to be to get the hell out of there. Because
They're
you just took
realizing
down
that
their
shit
boss
is going
man.
down.
Yes.
As they should be.
All right. Delarin, you are still locked into combat with this bandit man who is not so close to the fray that he can see exactly what's happening.
Awesome. Then I'm gonna. Delaran's gonna like look at his arm and look at him and be like, "Ow!" And then he's gonna grab his head and try to knee him in the head.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack.
Ooh, a 23 to hit.
That absolutely hits.
Oh yeah, he's gonna grab the back of his head and just knee him right in the
So
face.
guys, we're getting all of our high rolls out of the way now, so when we all TPK in a session or two, we know why.
Yeah, you used them all up. All right, that absolutely hits. So go ahead and make your damage roll.
So just 5 again because I just
Oh,
ate.
right. All right. He's just teetering on the edge. Like he looks at you with just like bloodshot eyes. You look like you might have ripped part of his ear somehow because he was wearing some kind of helmet that tore it. He
Does he
has
beg-
like. Sorry.
Is he begging for mercy?
Not quite. He's not going down without finishing the fight. He is not happy and not looking great either.
Punch
so,
drunk.
yes. All right. Next is our friend Gary, who is sitting on top of a very unconscious man.
Gary is going to stand up and draw out his flaming scimitar. As he also takes out a small little device out of his pocket. And then he's going to basically jump in front of the lady and basically say, "Anyone lays a hand upon her and I'll send you the fucking 9 hells."
All right. Let's see. Is the flaming sword your magic item?
It's my hellfire scimitar. Literally,
That's
if I
right.
kill them, they end up in the 9 hells as a devil. They literally get reborn instantly as a devil in the 9 hells from the rest.
So the answer to that question would be yes, it's a magic item.
That was my
Yes,
question.
I
Is
meant-
that your magic item? Yes, that was
Yeah.
my question. Okay. All right. Well, do you do any action or you just intimidation straight
Would
up?
you like me to roll intimidation?
I absolutely would if that's your full action.
Now I think I should have probably asked any advantages or...
They're already pretty scared, so you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, flaming sword of death! Sort
Well,
of
they're
thing.
already looking like they're gonna flee anywho, so yeah, I would say.
It's just Gary giving them the little persuasion to get their ass.
I just look, oh, the shiny midget has a sword.
The tiny robot midget has a flaming sword of death that continues to the 9 hells.
There you go. Well, that certainly made one of them shit their pants. Another is crying for their mom. So you did a
That
good
guy's
job.
got the right idea. He wore the brown pants today.
Yep.
All right, Fluffy, you're up. How do you wanna act?
Okay, so one guy right in front of me, I'm imagining I can see him.
He is down. Yep, he's completely down.
That was the guy you launched Gary onto, who he then cracked his head open.
This guy is down. I can't show.
You
That
can
one.
if you click and hold, it'll ping.
That
that
one's
guy-
down.
Down for the
That
count. Here,
one
let me put a
seems
status
like-
on him. He is down. This one over here is prone, and even though you're in difficult terrain, if you use your movement, you could get over to him. This gentleman is down. I gotta get better about putting statuses on. This one, I don't believe has taken any damage, but he's far
that
away
one-
from you.
Okay. So I'm probably gonna try to. I would have seen this guy being taken down, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would say.
Okay. So I'm just trying to figure what what Fluffy would do. I feel like she'll try to get as close to Gary and this unknown person as possible because obviously the people from this place are in the fight and she doesn't know if she's gonna have to start healing Gary.
Could I make
or
a suggestion?
follow her bluffing.
Let
If
her.
you were here, you were sort of blocking these pills, so the only way they can go is to escape.
Let her do her character without
Oh, I am.
intervention.
Sorry, I was just suggesting.
I was thinking she'll try to get as close as possible. Granted, if she tries to go here, she got to go through 2 people. One that's lying down, and she accidentally steps on them. That's not fucking good. But she'll probably go here Yeah, she'll probably go there. So movement there. Do I have to? Would I be able to make it here?
Yep,
In this
you can make it there.
area?
So difficult terrain, it's just it halves your move speed. So let's see, if your move speed is 30, you can move 15 feet, which is I believe that is 10 feet. But yeah, you can make your movement there. And then, do you want to take any action?
She'll probably. I'm trying to think. Will she attack people? She doesn't realize what's going on. She didn't hear what the guy was explaining. All she knows is there's a fight, and Gary's in the middle of it.
That is exactly what she knows. And I will say, you do recognize this face. You've spent the last maybe hour, 2 hours at the bar with him. So he is what you would consider probably an acquaintance, and he is also fighting on the same side as Gary, if that helps you inform your decision.
Okay. So she'll probably attack the prone guy.
Okay.
Because
Go ahead.
this one. Okay, so that would be unarmed. I don't know how to roll unarmed.
So if you go into your character sheet.
Okay, let me.
I don't think she has an arm set up because I didn't set that up for her.
Okay. Let's see.
So should I just do strength?
So
Or
it's 1 plus your strength. So yours would be 5 flat, just like Delarin.
Yeah.
For the
Okay.
damage, but the
For the damage. So
And then roll.
let's see. Roll. Yeah, what would it be for unarmed strike?
Isn't it strength plus proficiency?
It's 1 plus your strength modifier, so she'd be doing 5 damage.
No.
So
For the
what's the,
attack,
to hit?
To hit.
To hit, it is strength modifier or dexterity modifier plus your proficiency.
Looks
On,
like
on top of the 20 roll.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to read right now.
Yes.
So I'm just
Okay.
gonna roll-
So 1d20 plus 6 for him.
Let's see, is that
Where-
your strength?
No, that is your strength 4.
My strength is plus 4.
My-
Yes.
So it would be plus 4 plus the 2 proficiency. So it would be strength. It would be d20 plus strength mod plus proficiency
Okay, the D20.
plus 6 on your case.
So roll. Yeah, you did that right. Oh, it would be plus 6, so I'll just add 2 to that. So,
Yep.
your unarmed strike attack roll is 10. That
I'll go
does not
into-
make AC.
I'll go into the sheet and I'll add that right now. Since
It'll
Works
look
for-
lightly.
Yeah, you do kick him a little, but it's not enough to really do anything to him. He's already kind of he's kind of curled up into a turtle, so he's pretty well protected from the people around him. So,
I gotta
next.
hit it a little bit more harder.
All right, next is going to be our bandit's turn. So the only 2 that can make any actions, or well, I guess the 3 are able to make actions. This one has not taken any damage. He is going to jump straight over Krentz's body and try and get out of the way. That does give Gary the chance for an opportunity attack, as well as Jorik, because he's going to pass coming to the left. So he's coming over this way. So Gary and Jorik, if you want to try and make opportunity attacks against him, now's your chance.
Interesting question.
Sure.
Would George be considered prone since he's kicking back on a chair right now?
Well, that is a good question. And he's not engaged technically in the combat, so. That is a good question. I don't think I've ever run into a situation like this before where someone is like,
Yep, and that's why you're the
Deliberately-
DM.
yeah,
You have to
I like
decide.
it. I will
Sorry,
leave it up.
what's the situation right now?
So, one of the guards, or the bandits rather, just ran right past you, so you have the opportunity for an opportunity attack. But right now, I'm trying to decide if Jorik also gets an opportunity attack, because he's
If
sitting
they
in a
run
chair.
past the first person, that first person gets the opportunity attack. If they succeed in evading it, the next person takes the opportunity attack.
Anyone that it passes gets the opportunity. is if they choose to use their reaction. The thing being that if George chose to use his reaction, would it be at disadvantage as he's
He could
laying
just
back in a
kick
chair
the
with his feet
table.
up?
He could just kick the table in front of the guys. The guy trips over and smashes his face into it.
That's true too, but we got to see if George. That's if George chooses to use his opportunity in that.
Yeah.
No. I think he's just gonna let him go. Like, I don't know what this is about.
I love the blase. I love this.
Okay. All right.
Nothing to do with me.
Gary, if you want to try and make,
table open up, they decided to take it.
that's awesome. I like Jorik. All right. Let's say. So Gary, if you want to go ahead and make an opportunity attack and use a reaction, you may do so now.
Gary's probably just good approach.
Okay. Go ahead and make
He's
an
still got
attack
one
roll.
free fist,
Sorry.
I said he's still got one free fist.
Accurate.
Well, technically I can just kick him in the shins.
You can do whatever you want with your unarmed strike. Flavor-wise, you just tell me what happens, and we'll see if it does.
I don't actually get the 9. Does 9 hit?
9 does not hit.
Yeah. Gary just goes to kick him in the head.
All right, so the bandit is able to successfully make it to the door, and he is like frantically like pulling at the door, but it's stuck on something, so he's stuck at the door currently.
He's trying to unlock a locked door.
He's pulling on a push door, so
Dummy, it's a push, not a pull.
don't tell him that. All right, next is our friend
Okay.
Oliver, who's currently at the bar. Do you want to use your action?
Still not sure what's going on. I'm going to order a drink and drink it.
Absolutely. Durnan looks at you with a great appreciation that you're not going into that fray, and says that'll be 1 CP, what is that, a nib? 1 nib? I know the language. That'll be 1 copper for you common non-Waterdalian folk. So he brings you his finest ale for 1 copper, and you are free to sip as you watch this dinner and the show. Alright, next up is our dead folk, so he's dead, he cannot do anything. Yagra, who is the half-orc woman who's been fighting kind of alongside you guys, but kind of not paying attention either. She's going to look at our prone friend, who made no action to move last time because he is still engulfed in people. She is going to try and stomp him, a little curb stomp action. Let's see. She does not successfully. No, not wearing
No, I was
heels.
gonna say, 'cause that would hurt.
No, she does not successfully curb stomp him. He kind of like almost does like the worm and gets out of the way just as she's about to stomp on him, but not quite successful. All right, our favorite man of the hour, who has done everything and nothing. You may take your turn. Anything?
I think he'll get up and he'll walk over to here and open the door for the guard.
He's not a god, he's a bandit.
Or bandit.
I will just let you do that. So he'll go ahead and do that, and the guard will just look at you. I keep saying guard. The bandit will just look at you and kind of shake his head and cock his head to the side and be like, "Thank you for being loyal to the cause," and start walking out the door. All right.
Walking or running?
A little bit of both. A little half gallop
well,
jog.
That's jog.
Before he turns and runs away, could I say I'll give you a head start?
You can absolutely see that. And that turns his gallop into a full sprint, but he doesn't have any movement until his next turn. So we'll call that. All right. So as we get to the top of the order, before anybody is able to do anything, Shouts of alarm suddenly ring out as a hulking creature climbs out of the shaft in the middle of the tap room. A monster with watery skin, bright green eyes, and a long carrot-shaped nose and spindly black and white hair crawls up the side, and you can see that it bares its yellow teeth and it howls. And there are that I don't know. And you see that a half dozen bat-like creatures are attached to its body, with 3 more flying above it in circles. Everyone in the tavern reacts in fear, except for the barkeep, Durnan, who shouts, "Troll!"
Oh, troll! Thank you. I was trying to figure out what it was.
And thus, we enter a few more foe into the fray. So let me roll initiative for that.
Okay, now since technically it's my turn, being originally from the Underdark, would I recognize these creatures instinctively, or and their capabilities, or no?
I
That's
would
cool.
say, no, I would say you would recognize them, especially if you have experience in that area. So let me go ahead and make sure the order is in there. So, where did the line? It's goofy. Where did my stand by while I figure out why initiative didn't roll? It's because I didn't have anything selected, so that makes sense. So we go back to the top of our turn order, and you see this dastardly looking troll. And you see that there are a couple of these bat-like creatures that are actually attached to the troll, almost like they're sucking blood like a mosquito out of him. So the tavern patrons and some of the staffers flee, or at least are taking cover. But you see, before anybody else is able to take action, that Durnan himself jumps over the bar and draws a mighty sword. So let me go ahead and roll him into the fray as well.
Nice.
So now everybody's in combat. Before Lath is able to take his turn, you hear Durnan yell, "No! Get out of here! I take the troll, you take the Sturges!" And he's shouting in the general direction of anybody who's actively holding a weapon or in combat.
Question, what is his dexterity?
Durnan?
Yeah.
That's for me to know.
Well,
And
mine is 14 with a +2.
He's a +2 as well.
yeah.
If you hover over it, it'll tell you.
Oh, does it really tell you? That's interesting.
Yep. Any rolls that are made public, if you hover over them, it will show the roll plus the stat.
Does he have a 13, a 14, or a 15?
14 or 15.
He's
That's,
looking for initiative for the initiative tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I understand.
We're exact same, so I'm just going to say who actually knows first.
Got it. Let me see. That is a dex. That is a 15 for him.
15, so yeah, he goes first.
Okay. All right. I think when you put it in descending order in the turn order tracker, it automatically selects.
Well, I don't actually have my dex on the phase.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well. Got it. All right. Well, now we have a new addition to the fight. So if we want to go ahead and take it from the top of the turn order, like if you want to kick us off and take your action.
Okay, so, I'm going to take a quick second to take this all in. Would you let me recover my dagger as a free action, or is that my bonus?
Well, it's a free action. I'll include it as part of your...
Copy
like
that.
drawing a weapon.
Copy that. Okay. Well, because it's the difference of, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, okay, cool. All right, so let's see. Everything's looking relatively taken care of here. Let's see. I'm not even gonna bother disengaging. I'm gonna just... It has the crowd cleared away from the portal, from the yawning portal.
Yes.
In that direction, because I'm looking to go this way and I want to know how much movement I've got.
Yep. The crowd
I'm-
is
I'm
it's cleared away. I'll say it's no longer difficult terrain.
Okay. And is the troll hanging over the edge? Like, is it like in the portal over the edge, or is it on the ground over here?
It is hanging over the edge. I would say it's probably up from its shoulders up, arms
it's
over the
in,
edge, pulling itself up.
It's in the so it's in the spot where it's at.
Yes.
I'm going to do something incredibly stupid. Okay. So. Maybe. I'm going to get to. I can get to about here. Let's see. I've recovered one of my daggers, of which DM, just to remind you, I have 5. Damn, I don't have my spear in the village. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, let's plan a show. Alright, one's getting thrown at one of the sturgeons, because I listened to Dirk. He said he's got the troll. I'll let him see if he's got the troll. I'm close enough that if he don't got the troll, then now since I know how distance works, I'm going to aim for this sucker over here. Kind of clear the way for Durnan to make his way around.
Okay.
Let's see. Dagger, public roll. 16.
That'll hit.
Okay. 7 piercing.
That flies straight towards the sturge, and almost as if it was not in the air in the first place, you hit it, and it almost goes like through one wing and then down into the body, right where the heart should be, and you just watch the sturge, along with your dagger, plunge back down into the Unarmed.
Damn, I was gonna ask if I had enough strength behind it to carry it across onto the edge. Okay. All right.
Well, if you wanna,
Yeah, it's okay. And I'm just gonna be there fuming because now I gotta shell out the gold for a new goddamn dagger.
We'll just get down and pick it up in a minute. I'm going down there to get Tom's head off afterwards.
I don't know about that, but all right. So
All right.
next up.
Good idea.
All right. Next up is the troll's turn. He's gonna use his movement to get up over the side of the this edge here, and he has a little bit of movement left, so he's gonna start coming around. Coming around the side to where he sees all of these nice friendly faces, and he is just gonna scream and howl and pound his chest and bare his teeth, and he's spitting all over the place while he growls, and he is just probably the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your life, honestly. It's pretty bad. Alright, next up is our friend
I don't know.
Doran.
I seen some shit.
Fair enough.
Doran's gonna look at the guy he's punching and go, "Listen, friend, I could knock you out, or we could deal with it in the top down."
I like it.
The thing is, he's not lying though.
He looks at you and he kind of goes, "Yeah, okay," and he nods. And he's definitely more scared of the troll than he is of you. So right now, the troll is his first priority to either get away from or fight. So.
As a bonus action, I'm going to cast Blood Curse of the Binding, and that is a DC 12 strength saving throw.
You said strength?
Yes. Oh, he
Ooh.
passes. He passes big time.
He pass. He do be passing.
So yeah, I mean, even though it fails, you see his like hand kind of flick, and there's like a weird like black and red kind of like flow around his hand, and then it goes. He like puts his hand out, shoots it towards the troll, and nothing happens. And he goes, "Well, shit. All right." And he turns and dang, I want to go for the troll. All right. instead of so he's going to go run, and he's going to turn and immediately start sprinting around the edge, which I believe that is how far am I going there?
Oh shit! Troll's got that 24.
He's going to jump up right here.
Okay.
Right here, okay. And he's going to pull out a light crossbow and shoot it at that one right there.
Okay. You can go ahead and make your attack roll.
Could it be said the troll be trolling?
You do be trolling.
11 hits.
An 11 does not hit.
Okay. And that's all I can do.
All right. Excellent. Next is our friendly adventurer Durnan, and it's if anybody cares to take a look at him, they notice that there is just this almost gleam of like adventure in his eyes. It's not uncommon for those who have been to the Yawning Portal to know that occasionally the monsters do come up out of the Undermountain, but it's almost like Durnan lives for this. So he is going to take an action to get up onto, well, he's going to kind of skirt around from where Fluffy was, use a bit of his ability to move, and then he is going to... He's gonna do, he's gonna do his crossbow. So let's see, 15 hits. 9. Yes. And because of his ability to do a multi-attack, he is going to do it once more, but does not hit that time.
Savannah, question.
Yes.
Are you intentionally rolling that with advantage, or are you not doing that?
It's unintentionally, but I'm always just taking the first roll. So I'll
Do you
go
know
ahead
how to shut that off?
Yes, I do. I just haven't
Okay,
done it.
okay. Copy.
When I dragged and dropped the characters into here, I forgot to change them.
I do it all the time. I didn't know if you needed to know how to do it, I was going to explain it to you. You know how to do it, so I'm not even going to.
No, I appreciate it.
I
All right.
have a quick question for a spell. When it says within sight, would this guy be in my line of sight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not your distance. It's like, can you see them feasibly? They're not behind cover or under a rock, or like you have to be able to see them. But
I could definitely see them because they're right in my view. I don't think
Well-
I probably would see this boy.
you would definitely see them. I would say that you can see anything that's not directly blocked. So even with Leif in the way here, you might even still be able to see this one, because he doesn't take up the full 5 feet of the 5 foot cube.
Well,
He might
isn't
still
that one technically
But-
down on its way, spiraling down the portal with my goddamn dagger stuck in it?
Oh, you need to actually put the.
That's correct. If it were still there, yes, I have to do that. If it were still there, you would be able to see it. It would be in sight. But yeah, you can absolutely
I was
see.
just wondering because I want to do a spell that I need to see within sight.
Got it.
This is feet range. Am I supposed to see them in 60 feet? Or
Yes. 60-foot range means it extends 60 feet, so you can go. The spell can be cast 60 feet in any direction, but anything that you can see within those 60 feet is fair game.
I was just wondering because I really wanted the spell.
Okay.
I need it.
Okay. So
Very patiently.
so Durnan finished his move. Next up is Gary, and then Fluffy. You get to use your fun spell. So Gary, how do you want to move?
Okay, good question. I'm assuming this lady is not going to get in my way if I move past her.
No, she'll let you pass through. She's looking like she's rearing
Right.
head over that way as well.
So 35 feet. Gary's going to charge at the creature, swinging his Hellfire Blade as he slices at it.
You have that much movement? That was like 40 feet.
25.
Is that your movement speed?
Yep.
Okay.
22 to hit.
Absolutely.
And 1d6 plus 6, which is actually 12 max, so 12 damage. And yes, that is fire, because it is a Hellfire Blade. And the fun fact is, if I kill it, and correct me if I'm wrong, DM, they are giant humanoids.
It's yes, a giant monstrosity, I think. Is what
Oh,
it's
so it's
actually.
not a humanoid anymore. Oh,
No.
No.
A troll used to be a giant humanoid. It was still monstrosity, but it used to be a giant humanoid monstrosity. So I was gonna say I could technically have sent its soul to the 9 hells.
No, it's not a humanoid from.
Can I use my bonus action to scare it as I just plunge my, flaming sword of death into it?
If you want to roll intimidation, you can try and intimidate it. Sure.
I would like to. Seeing as I've just rolled a really good score and got max damage against it. 18.
That does take it back a little bit. It thought it might be the most ferocious thing in the room, but now it's second guessing. So it kind
And
of.
also, you gotta remember, Gary's only 2 foot tall. He's like 2 foot 2. So he's tiny in comparison to this thing. Yeah, he's ferociously more scary.
All right. So next up is Fluffy. I'm interested to see what you're gonna do.
I'll be right back.
So-
Okay. Yep. Should be able to.
I'm reading it, and it says a creature. So if I choose any, if I choose big boy. Oh wait, I need to open it. Big boy here, or one of these. It would only hurt them and no one else around, right?
Yeah.
It says
So
a
it's.
creature.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming I did hear the bartender don't touch the big guy because he was going after the big guy.
Yes. Jernin did
And since
request that you take care of the
Since
Sturges.
since I'm a good being, I'm gonna be attacking that way.
Okay. Go ahead. Make the roll.
Okay. Hopefully it works. Please.
Oh, Sacred Flame, it hits. It auto hits.
Oh,
It's
it
just
automatically hit? So I didn't...
it just has to make a dex save. If it beats your dex save, then
So it can either beat a 13?
So it does beat the dex save. God, ooh, that's a big boy roll. We're getting all the big boy ones out tonight. But yes, I thought you had said guiding bolt, so I had not initially thought about the fact that it's a dex save. But yes, so if it had gotten under 13, it would have taken the 2 damage of radiant
Okay.
damage. But in this case, it saved.
Successful... Hold on, me if I say better. We know benefits from covering.
yeah. So
I
it what?
I just... Okay.
Oh no, I was gonna
I
say what that
tried.
is. It's all good. What that is, Fluffy, is if it the Sturge passed the saving throw, so
And
it takes no
basically
damage.
just dodged, so...
If it would have failed, it would have taken whatever damage you did.
Yeah.
Sacred Flame is all or nothing, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah, spells are like, if you do it, you do it. But if you don't, you're just not.
Yes. All right. So, did
can I
you
just
want to
say
make
what
any movement?
happens
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say probably have to realize casting this spell like, oh, did not. Maybe I'm too far away. Would it? I kind of want to try to get onto this bridge so I can get closer to the boys so I can hit them.
Okay. If you want to go ahead
Clear,
and.
so we know what's going on.
move.
So, can I move? Is this still? Okay, whatever. I think that it's still in my range.
Yeah, it's
Where's it there?
let's see.
Because I was
You
like,
are
moving my
there.
speed is pretty.
Is it control? I don't know. Yes, you have plenty. All right. Next up is going to be our bandit friend's turn. This one runs out the door, never to be seen again. Maybe. I mean, he would get very far, but we'll go with this man next. He is not quite as brave as some of the other fighters here, so he's going to go over to the fallen boss man who's incapacitated, and he's going to try to pick him up and move him. We'll roll to see if he's able to pick him up. You can drag him. So he'll use the rest of his very little movement to get the guy close to the door. All right, and then our final bandit man here, he's going to try and get up from being prone now that the crowd is dissipated. That's dexterity, right?
No, getting up from being prone is just half his movement.
Oh, it's just, oh. For some reason,
And I was going to say, for the dragging, for being able to lift something, your carrying capacity is 10 times your strength mod. Not strength mod, your strength score. So say you've got a strength score of 10, it's 100 pounds.
Got it. Alright, bandits.
If it's anything above that, generally, that's when you do a roll, because you're exerting yourself.
Yeah, I would say that this man probably weighs more than like 110 pounds. So. He's a beefy boy. So, alright. This prone friend is going to stand up, and he is going to use more of his movement to get close to the door. They're cowards. They're running. So we'll move on. And our friend Oliver at the bar, who's having a little dinner and a show, do you want to make any action?
Just seeing all these creatures that came out of nowhere, I'm going to dug my drink, jump over the ball.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to take off. Well, can I take off my bow?
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, I'm going to take off my bow and strike at one of the flying creatures.
Okay. This one is down. So these two, hello. These two would be what you'd want to shoot at. I will say you've got some allies in the way here. I can't remember the rules. Is it
It's a thing of if they're the same level as us, they'd be considered behind cover. If they're like hovering like at base level with us, if they're above us though, you probably have a clear shot. But the rules for cover are as follows, because I have them open here somewhere, because I keep forgetting myself, and then I just gotta find what the damn thing is.
While you're finding that, I will say that these are flying above the heads, at least 5 foot higher than Fluffy, Lake, and Galarian. So
Yeah,
if
so
you
he
wanted to take the
probably-
shot, you'd have a clear shot.
Yeah, he probably have a clear shot. It's a bonus to AC. It's not like it used to be in 3.5. In 5th edition, half cover is a +2 bonus to AC and dex saves. 3/4 cover is +5 bonus. And total cover, they can't be targeted directly.
All right. Well, Oliver, if you want to go ahead and make your roll, or Steve, if you want to make your roll for Oliver, shoot your crossbow.
$16.
That'll hit. Yep.
Booyaka.
And then go through.
Sorry, it hits. I don't know if you heard me before, but 10 damage. That sails across the air, hits it right through the wings, right through the chest, and pins it against his back wall over here. So we'll mark him down.
Ooh, sneak attack damage. Oogie rogue. I like it.
I like it.
My
All
first character was an elven rogue, so I'm like, rogues have a special place in my heart.
Mine was a warlock, which was interesting for my first
Oh,
character.
Jesus. You're a masochist.
A little bit. So, all right. Next, is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So as Yagro's taking her turn, she screams like the orc side of her is really coming out, and she turns to Durnan and she says, "What do we do?" And Durnan shouts back at her, but loud enough so everyone can hear. He says, Pour the lamp oil on it. There are plenty of lamps around. Pour lamp oil on it, push it down the mountain, and I will light it on fire with a flaming arrow. That's the plan he's asking for.
You would already notice that Gary is already setting the thing on fire with his flaming sword as a slash.
Does it?
It doesn't light the character.
I was gonna say, yeah, it does fire
No,
damage.
it's
It doesn't.
flaming. No, it does do fire damage. Your 1d6 is fire. It's
Yes.
part of the fire damage.
it does fire
It doesn't
damage. It's not
cause
lighting it on fire.
burning. Yeah, it doesn't cause burning damage afterwards.
No, you know what I mean? It's still light, you're still cutting the thing and making sure it can't regenerate.
Correct, but it's not lighting it on fire, and that's what Durnan wants to do. He wants somebody to pour oil on it, push it down the well, and he'll shoot a flaming arrow as it's falling, so it can't get back up. So, Yagra is going to start moving over to the lamp that's closest to the wall here and start taking it off the wall and getting the oil from it. And she's going to move one step closer and try and throw it onto the troll as best as she can. So let me go ahead and make call it let's see, throwing something.
I think it's just improvised.
Well, she's not trying to hurt him. She's just trying to.
Oil has its own thing, if I remember correctly. If you look up pot of oil,
I think it's in the thrown weapon, if I'm not mistaken. So it's thrown.
Okay,
Dex, yeah.
that's what I thought. Okay, so let's see.
It's an improvised weapon.
Yes. All right. So we'll do.
There is an item if you wanted to go into it, but since this isn't the item pot of oil, this is a lamp or something like that where it's improvised.
We'll do straight dex. Okay, 14. We'll call that enough that she kind of gets some like on his legs and maybe the little like cloth he has around his waist, but not enough to really douse him. But enough to get some on him that it would probably catch, but not full body. Alright, next is the Sturgis turn. There's just one left. He is going to fly over to Gary. Notice that he has no blood in him, and try and go over to Yagra and make an attack at her.
may I stop this at DM?
Sure.
Because I have intercept.
Okay. Yeah, and as he passed through, I forgot that would provoke an opportunity attack.
No, didn't leave threat range.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
it's not that intercept. It's either intercept or protect.
Just to give everybody a heads up, once we get to the end of Jorik's turn, we're going to take our break. I don't want to go too much past when I said we were, before we continue with combat. But just in a couple minutes here, if anybody has anything that they need to do.
Right, here we go. Interceptor. When a creature you can see hits a target other than you within 5 feet of you in an attack, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage the target takes by 1d10 plus your proficiency bonus to a minimum of 0. So basically, as it attacks, Gary is going to basically intercept and minus some of the damage.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and do my roll if you want to do yours. You said it's a roll of what, or is it flat?
You make your attack. If it hits, then I will use my intercept.
You
it
have to be
does-
wielding a shield using a simple or rush weapon. Okay.
I'm
It-
using my sword.
Yeah.
It does not hit, so it does not.
Then I don't need to actually roll.
Okay.
Basically, if it had attacked and made the hit,
Mhm.
it's like Gary is going in there to block and defend her and take some of the damage off. So I don't take any, but she would take 1d10 plus 1 of my proficiency less.
Got it. Interesting. I like that. I don't know if I've seen that used before. All right. And last in the order is our friend Jorik.
Question: does picking up small items count as an action or a bonus action?
For the purposes of this, and I'll have to look more at what the rules are, I'm going to call it a free action because I let Laith do the same thing. So if you want to pick up a small item, I'll call that a free action for now.
Cool. Because I want to go over here and pick up a beer bottle and a cloth, and then go over here with a dash. Yep,
Okay.
with the using my dash, and pick up the lantern that's on the table.
Beautiful. I like it. I will say that you go ahead and do that. Yeah, I don't think you need to roll for that. Alright, so you said over the bar and then over there. Okay. Alright, and then we'll say that you're using your action to prepare the object, the Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Presuming.
Alright. Okay. Alright, now we're back to the top of the turn order, but like I said, we're going to take like, let's call it a 10-minute break. So if everybody wants to come back in 10 minutes at 8:50 Eastern, go ahead and do what you need to do, and we'll be back at exactly 8:50.
And to tell you, Savannah, they're very amorphous with the drawing weapon rules in 5e. Because I've been looking at that. Like, here's the thing: there are certain feats and certain fighting styles that they say they allow you to draw the weapon as part of the attack. But when you look it up,
Okay. Thank you for coming, Aliavana. About W, Alien Gathering, Another TV Viewer, and Delo TX. Thank you all for coming. Take the next 10 minutes to take a break, and I'll see you back in 10 minutes.
It's one of those things that's really like it's really weird with how they word it, and like it really is up to your discretion. Like, do you think you'd be able to do this in the 0.01 seconds it takes to actually do the
Yeah.
yeah.
Not to cut us short, I really have to use
Go. When you come back.
Cool. Thank you.
Just Google. Yeah, just Google it real quick. It says you can pick up a weapon without using an action, but only one of them. So yeah.
I love how they make the plan. Like, oh, guy with the little skirt. The little skirt right here. I'm like, oh, he's within 5 feet. That's why I was measuring him. Like, I can get to where you are right here, and I can hit this boy with my warhammer.
You have to think in 3D though, because she said that was also about like 5 to 10 feet above her head.
Yeah, she said about 5 feet above my head. So I would probably have to make 2 rolls. One.
No, like 5 feet, you'd be okay.
Dead, remember?
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
she's talking about the one that was. That's an interesting point. Oh no, that one was killed. That's the one that's pinned against the wall.
Yeah.
Here's the one. Okay. Because I was gonna be like, I should have gotten an opportunity. I should have gotten an attack of opportunity. And then like, wait, no. That one was shot down by our resident Roger.
So I was gonna go over there, like within 5 feet. I'm pretty tall. But she said above our heads, and I'm like, how much? I don't know how much taller.
We're still considered medium, so we'll take up a 5 foot threat radius, which is each box.
So basically, I would have to get over to. I would have to make 2 rolls.
You'd have either had to do one of 2 things.
Probably good thing I didn't do that.
Yeah, you could probably, I think this right here, which is what I was originally going to do, is if I remember what I read about, what I know about the yawning portal, that's actually kind of like a swing or like a basket that they lower people down into the portal with.
Oh my god.
My original plan was running, if I would have had enough movement to do it, was running into that, jumping into it, letting the momentum carry me around while I punch something in the face. But I did not have enough movement for that. So, that's why I stopped there, and I lost a fucking dagger, which is pissing me off to know that.
I told you I'll go down after I get it for you.
You had fun.
I was gonna go here and take down the scourge, whatever that's called.
No
This thing
man,
here,
there is
because
nothing here.
there would be
There was.
right here, and that was
for a fucking non-existent bird. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Granted, that bird is over there on the wall. Still, no, it's dead. On the wall. So I was gonna go there, gets it, or try to. But I'm like, if it's 5 feet above my head and 5 feet away, I don't think I would be able to reach it. So I feel like I would have to do like
That would have been up to Savannah's ruling, but I think you would have been able to reach it fine, just because of the fact that it's still within 5 feet. In a 3D space, it would still be within 5 feet.
I didn't know if I didn't know how it worked because DMs have those rules. Some would be like, yeah, that's fine. Others would be like, no, you can't hit it.
If she stated that it was within the 5-foot area above your head, you probably could hit it.
Yeah. So I was gonna hit it, try to knock it down, but that's gone. That would be done. I'm thinking, oh, I can get over here, get this lamp, and go to one of you, whoever has a bow, and try to help get a flaming arrow. Go
Fire
like, because I was like, yeah, I can. I can get here 15 feet. I can go another 15 feet. From there to him is 15 feet. So I can get him the oil so he can light his bow, and I can try to do. Now, probably not smash him, but next turn if the guy's not dead, I can just try to shoot my crossbow at him. Like one of something. Most likely this guy over here.
Crossbows are 80, 300.
Could I give you a quick suggestion? There is currently 2 guys who are currently bleeding out in the pool.
Oh, so do you want me to go over to this boy and heal him?
Well, technically, if you heal him, he won't get up. He will just be stabilized.
No, if she heals him, he'll have hit points of conscious again. If she stabilizes him, that's a medicine check.
I thought if you healed somebody, they would stabilize.
Nope, they're just prone. They're back awake. Once they have, if they're at 0 hit points, they're unconscious.
Oh, so he's not dead, or he's just unconscious.
Yeah. People usually play fast and loose with the rules for that. Like for monsters, they are like, oh, they're dead. But for humans, they kind of go with, yeah, we'll give them.
None of us wanted to kill the bandits, did we not? Because that would be a murder sentence.
Exactly. So we were.
We also did non-lethal, so they would be knocked out.
Yeah, so just maybe just go and check on them while we deal with the dried food. I'm just
If they
thinking
need
that we don't want them to die because then we get put the murder rap even though
The one guy's being dragged out. So. But the other guy.
Getting dragged out.
maybe
The one
we
that
should
I.
give him escape because I think he's currently the guy we need as a captain.
I'd
But
rather
the one.
take the captive. I'd rather get her. I'd rather get her and talk to her because obviously maybe it's just lucky being lucky.
Yeah, that's
We
what's
were after
dying.
her.
Paying the fight. So we need him so we can get a reward from the guards.
You don't know that would happen.
I know that people what is deep will chuckle what you got if you capture somebody who's starting a fight, that's instigating of assault, and assault is worth about 500 gold. So there will be a reward, most likely.
But you're not from Waterdeep, so you technically don't know.
You wouldn't even
I'm a
know that.
dimension hopper.
You're
I have
assuming
known
that.
Gary. There have been plenty of Garys who have been to Waterdeep. It's literally one of the first destinations you go to is to command this game.
But granted, Fluffy wouldn't know that and doesn't know. I'm just going. I'm happy I know absolutely nothing about this road.
Well, the general rule I follow as a player and somebody who's a DM who appreciates play how you're
That's enough.
So like if your character has no idea what the fuck is going on,
Free!
you're prone to healing people or you're prone to violence.
Gary. He sees a giant troll while everyone else tells him to run. Gary charges in and starts beating it to pieces.
Gary would be killing this thing. Fluffy, I definitely can make it to this guy, and I can probably use healing word on him. Get him at least stable, then probably try to make my way over to Gary, because he's the only one I know other than this guy right here, probably this guy, and Rocky. So, do I know Rocky? Yeah, I do.
We met him last time.
Yeah,
It was a different character, but assuming it was the same
Yeah.
character.
So I had met this one and this one, and so I would see, okay, is doing stuff. Need to get over to Gary because Gary's Gary and Gary do something stupid.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
so
go
we're
ahead.
just making gameplay.
Oh, I was just gonna say after doing some quick googling, the consensus was that I'm still learning new peeps'
Okay.
names. Was
Yeah,
that it
Noah
was?
as Vale and Steve as Skyrim. I think it's Steve.
I
or
think
Steve.
it was Noah that was talking earlier that we
Yeah,
were
that was
talking
me.
about the. Okay, yeah. So that the consensus online and was what he said. That's a free action to draw one weapon, but you need an action to draw a second.
I like it, and that information is good to have. Cool. All right, let us jump right back into the fray. If we want to go from the top of the order.
It's
You can go
funny
first.
you mentioned the word jump.
All right.
Okay. Now, I'm here again, possibly doing something really stupid. But if I remember the way the yawning portal is set up correctly, from what I can see in front of me, that is a swinging basket, correct?
That is correct. It is a swinging basket.
And with 10 feet of movement, I can get a long jump.
That
Now,
is also correct.
if I were to back up a bit and use my momentum with the basket, how much distance would I need to actually jump? And what would you make me roll for it? Being that I'm a monk, I know jump is technically strength-based, but I feel like this whole thing is more of an acrobatics check.
I would agree with you. I think acrobatics is the appropriate thing here. So let's say you get a running start, jump into the basket. It will swing to about halfway between these.
So I
Your
should be able
movement would need to be about 10 feet.
Yes, I would need to move back 10 feet to get the running start. And then I'd have to cover the 10 feet again. So that's 20 feet right there. So I'd have 10 feet left that I would be able to jump, plus the acrobatics.
Correct. So you would use your movement to do all of that.
Because I'd be able to. I've got 11 strength, which the rules for jumping gives me. When you make a standing long jump, okay, 10 feet of movement. You cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. So I can clear the jump with 11 feet. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm gonna make the acrobatics check to see how I guess we'll see how well I'm able to swing out the thing, or if I land on my ass inside the basket.
Yes.
Copy that.
I've just realised something. You guys are going to love this. So, I originally had composite plating for my race, which gives me 13 plus my dex to a maximum of 2 plus my proficiency. Right, for my armour. Well, that was when I had my other class. Now that I'm on fighter, I have heavy armour proficiency. So it's now 16 plus proficiency plus your dex.
Okay.
A lot, but let's focus on what's going on right now. Somebody's taking their turn, so.
All right. So then with the 16, do I bust my ass inside the basket, or do I do all the crap that I said I did?
I would say that that's enough for you to make a good footing in the basket, and you're graceful like a ballerina as you float across the chasm, I would say. So I'll say that's all pretty successful. Your acrobatics roll met what I thought would be appropriate. So
Okay, so I totally Indiana Jones whip this shit as I swing, put one foot on the basket, and I'm literally humming Raiders March as I do this. I don't know where the music's coming from. I'm just
dimensional leak.
yep.
Yeah, it's when Gary's door a portal open and
Okay.
something else is coming through.
And how do you land? I feel like I need to know, is it a Spider-Man pose or like a blade
No,
pose?
tuck and roll. Tuck and roll.
All right.
You know,
All right.
I know how to land properly. Tuck and roll, but
If he
How-
did superhero landed, he would break his kneecaps.
how much of that? What do I have left? Are we going to consider the acrobatics and all this an action, bonus action, just part of my movement?
Call it your movement, because I think it's cool that you did that. So if you want to take any attack or anything, feel free to do so.
It's got to be from a distance, or I got to dash up. Got it. So I think I'm going to use dash and get catty corner there. And that is. Hold on, let me see something, because I know that my martial arts stuff is weird. I don't know if that counts as. Default plan changes. When you use it. Okay, so it's when I use a thing I can use my martial arts as a bonus action. I do not get anything extra, so that would be my turn.
Alrighty, that works for me. Next up is the troll. He is pretty distracted by this little metal thing, so he is going to try and take a big old step on top of it.
Well, this is why I'm glad I reworked my armor class.
So let's go ahead. Ooh, he doesn't. I don't have his unarmed strike set up.
Wouldn't it be like a stomp or whatever it is for him?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Like he's
think.
gotta-
Is there a stomp action for a large giant?
I would think it would probably use the same. It's just a flavor thing at that point. That it would be, instead of just like, if it's got claws, instead of doing a slash, it would be bludgeoning damage, the different type of damage.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just trying to figure out how to calculate the attack. Let's see,
Okay.
what is this? Just to start. Let's see. So. So, does a 14 hit?
No, nowhere near.
Alright. Alright. A little bit like somebody trying to step on a very fast ant. He stomps his foot down enough that you kind of thud, but don't lose your footing, and he does not hit you.
As he just steps on Gary, Gary's got his metal horns on his head, with the metal spikes on his head.
I'll say he just missed you. He's not going to take any damage from that. So.
But I just find it funny just seeing a troll jump.
All right. That was the troll's turn. So next up is Delarin.
So I have a complete idea.
Sure.
Can I run along the edge of the thing without making a acrobatics check? Because that's 30 feet to get to the troll. But if you prefer, I could just not run along like the edge, and I could just do something else. I just want to know if you're okay with that.
Let's see. The distance, it's probably 2.5 feet wide across. I would say that, yeah, you can use your movement to go along it. I don't think you're teetering by any means. So.
Okay, yeah, I could get all the way. I could get all the way up to the troll then.
Yeah.
Awesome. In that case, I'll go all the way up to the troll, and he's going to put, like, like basically holster. I don't know where he keeps the crossbow. Okay, I didn't really think about that. If I'm being entirely honest. He's gonna throw it over his shoulder, and then he's gonna grab his great sword, and he's gonna jump and kind of like he's gonna like spin and try to like cut the troll's like knee area.
All right, if you want to go ahead and roll your attack.
It's a 19 hit.
Absolutely it hits. So as that's happening, go ahead and roll your damage die.
He takes 9 slashing damage.
That's a lot. I mean, you know, it's enough. It's a lot. So exactly what you just described happened. You run like Naruto style around the edge of this well here, and you jump up, and it's almost like in slow motion. And you bring the sword around the side of your body, and you slash right behind his knee and across the side of it, almost like severing whatever muscles and tendons are there behind his knee. So he kind of drops down onto one knee now.
Awesome. And I think that's all I can do.
All right. Next up is Durnan. He's going to use his movement to kind of get up. He'll squeeze past between Gary and Niagara, and he's going to make a couple attacks. He's pretty angry. All right. Go ahead. So Durnan can make 4 melee weapon attacks. So he is going to... That hits. That hits, and that does not hit. So he does, in total, 31 damage to this troll.
Plus the 12 Gary did.
Yes, so that is a fury of blows, and he is just striking across the troll's chest again and again and again. He cuts off one of the arms, he takes out the other knee, he slashes from the gullet all the way up to the chin, and you just watch this troll's eyes roll into the back of its head, and as it's, you know, rolling and bleeding onto the floor, it falls back, and it is no longer... Durnan looks proud at himself, but he's still got this bloodlust on his eyes, and he turns and he says, "One more Sturge left." So next up is Gary. If you want to go ahead and do your due diligence.
Gary is going to turn around and slice it.
All right. That'll hit. And that'll kill.
It will kill.
Is that a forged in fire?
Yes. I love Doug Marcaido, I've got to admit it. I love the show. To be honest, I'm a blacksmith for 7
Well, you are successfully able to slash the Sturge out of existence and cut it up into tiny bits, almost as if it's minced. But the R is after the I.
No, they're Sturge.
Yeah, a trigger's a different kind of monster.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'll call that the end of combat. At this point, the bandits are making off happy with their leader in tow.
Gary is going to be chasing after them now.
Is Homeboy still on the table, by the way?
Homeboy dead. Well, not dead. Unconscious. Very unconscious. A little squashed on the table.
And one more question before what do I have eyes on Volo? Is he still around? Did he clear the area like everyone else, or?
Volo is he's no stranger to this sort of nonsense and monsters, and so he's sitting. I actually think I had you at this table.
Yeah.
He is still sitting right where you left him. He never joined the fight, but if anybody had cared to look back at him at any point, he was like, "Oh."
I was keeping an eye.
Yes.
I just wanted to know if he was still, like, I was trying to clock him, but I didn't get to ask. So just my immediate thing after this is I'm gonna just saunter back, sit down with my drink again, and say audition's over and wait for everything to go.
Well, I'll let you
Gary,
do that.
track
Yep.
to the guard if you get progress.
All right. If you want to go ahead and do that. At this point, they're pretty far off, and as you get towards the door, they're turning around a corner.
Gary would run after them as fast as he can. Niggas is fake. Me, so that would be 7 feet movement. If I dash.
Well, I'm not going to take us off this map, and I'm going to say that we'll kind of interlude between your little chase and what everybody else is doing. So if you want to go ahead and put yourself by the door, out the door, I'll go ahead and make that happen. But does anybody else want to take any actions inside the bar?
Lauren's going to go. Well, that was fun. And he's going to sheath his greatsword, hop down off the ledge, walk over to the monster, and basically start analyzing it. Since that's kind of what he does. Just kind of like look it over, like peel up skin and stuff like that. Like just full on going into like Monster Hunter mode and being like, this is fun. This is interesting.
Alright. Well, if you're poking around, you do find, looks like he might have some torn pieces of cloth, but you do also find a couple pieces of silver. Looks like maybe just things that he had picked up because they were shiny as they fell down the well while people were monster hunting down there. So you do find 7 silver and 1 gold while you're poking around in the body.
Lauren goes, nice. And, like, pockets it, and then he's gonna be satisfied with kind of poking over for the monster, analyzing it, or all that kind of stuff. Just doing all scientific kind of stuff.
Okay. Anybody else doing any action?
I'm just gonna sit down in disappointment. Like, I didn't get to use this.
Fluffy's gonna probably get off the bridge and walk over to the woman that probably looks the worst off right now. Because she looks like she probably has the most damage done to her. And I probably will cast... Oh, I should ask if she wants to get healed. The Fluffy walks up and be like, excuse me, miss, would you like to be healed?
She has this kind of tough demeanor about her, but she looks at you and how soft and fluffy you are, and since you're pretty tall, she almost is able to look you right in the eyes, and she just kind of solemnly nods her head. She said, if you have any healing to spare.
And so, I would be using this. Pressure legs. I'll be using Healing Word.
Sorry about that.
I just rolled to
Healing
see...
word.
Yeah, just roll 1d4. That's my spell.
Yep.
Your wisdom modifier, so it would be 1d4 plus 4. I think it was plus 4, right? The number above your wisdom. Big number.
I can't see that right now. And so then we'll roll d4. As you know, my starts.
4, and then it would be plus...
My wisdom, you said?
Yes.
My wisdom is plus 5.
Looks like that's
Plus
your
3.
saving throws. It's plus 3. So.
I was looking at the wrong thing then.
Oh, you're okay. So it's gonna be 4 plus 3. So she regained 7 health. She looks a lot better than she did before, and she's very grateful to you. While you're kind of going ahead and doing the healing, Durnan is gonna go over and he's gonna kind of kick at the knees of the troll, and he goes, "That's another win in the books," and kind kind of walks over.
Sparta.
He does walk over to the side where the troll is laying, and not to be too graphic, he does like to take the occasional trophy and mount it on the wall. So he does decapitate the troll and very carefully make sure that he's cleaning up after himself, and then he carefully wraps it in an old tablecloth and he takes it to the back room with him. And he requests help because he wants to throw this thing back over the edge. So if anybody is in the area that wants to help throw the body of the troll over back into the Undermountain, you can assist her in that.
Lauren definitely will. He's already.
I'll definitely help.
Alright.
Do I need to like make a roll to see if I can actually lift up the thing?
We'll say that if there's at least 3 people, so Dernan and 2 others doing it, that I won't worry about it.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I might be able to pick one.
I was gonna say she can lift
Yeah.
things as if it's she's one size larger, so it doubles her thing. So it's like she can probably do it alone.
Yeah, and DeLauren's not weak either, so.
Yeah, it's like
Well, yeah, you guys do it
I
with
feel
ease.
like I was gonna say, I feel like as she says that, she reached down and started to pick basically up the creature's upper half before everybody else helps.
I love how
You
we're
know, I
debating. I love how we're debating how many people it takes to throw a troll down a hole.
The logistics are fascinating.
After the
Alright.
troll, can I say one last thing?
Yeah,
Because I kind of wonder why the guys jumped the orc woman. After probably the troll is taken care of, she'll probably turn back around to the orc woman if she's still there and ask, oh, why did they attack you?
She turns to you and she furrows her brow like you just reminded her of a bad memory, and she said, those scum are part of this cult, this gang, all a part of Xanathar's guild, and they are dastardly and evil, and they killed some of my own, and I couldn't let it go on. I couldn't let them get away with it.
Question: Since this place is kind of quiet and I have a passive, since it's mostly cleared out now, I've got passive perception of 16. Would I clock this conversation?
Say yes, especially Bolo is, let's say he got up to get a drink and he's kind of chittering away with Oliver. That'll give Oliver a chance to meet Bolo. We'll say that yes, if you're trying to tune in, or if you're just kind of taking in the room, we'll say that you hear that.
Yeah, I'm taking in the room. Okay.
What would be like, I'm sorry, I'm not from here. Who are they? Who's that group?
He says, you'll learn soon enough, but don't get messed up with them. They are a bad group run by a bad person. And with that, she kind of turns and she's reserved, and she says, I need to go take care of my losses.
You know, Fluffy just basically backs up and all that, understanding.
All right.
Dex save, you don't triple. Nah,
Oh yeah. You jump over the edge of the well and you fall in.
Couldn't resist.
Oh boy. All right, Oliver, you're approached by this man that's kind of wearing this like fantastical clothing, and he approaches you as he strokes his mustache over at the bar, and he adjusts his floppy hat that he's wearing and tightens a scarf and says, Bulafem Bedram, chronicler, wizard, and celebrity at your service. I trust you've noticed that there's some violence in our fair city these past 10 days, and I saw that you kind of avoided the fight, but you got a keen eye, and it looked like you were starting to jump in. Are you interested in meeting with me and some of your other compatriots? Because I might have a job for you.
I'm gonna say, well, I don't know none of these people, but it depends what the job is.
Well, I can promise you some gold if you'll at least hear me out and take it on. At
I'll
this
yell
point,
over. Anyone who could shoot like that, I'll work with.
so he kind of like gestures. He kind of waves his hand as if to gesture you around the bar and over to the table that he was sitting over at. So do you follow him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if you want to go ahead and, well, I'll move your token to where he's sitting. You're going to end up over here. And with that, he kind of makes it loud enough so anybody else that's in this bar area can hear. He says, anyone that just fought that troll, anyone who was brave enough to stand up to it, I would like to speak with right now. So, anybody
Fluffy
who's in the
probably
vicinity here.
Fluffy probably just goes over because she just realized. I forgot names. Her name.
Jory?
No. Her, little metal boy.
Oh, Gary.
Gary. She probably realized Gary's gone because I'm pretty sure I don't really need a roll to notice if someone's missing, especially hearing and knowing they just probably ran out.
Yeah, she, Gary, as far as we can tell, is kind of out of the scene right now, but,
Yeah. So she probably moves over to the only other person she knows, which is this guy over
Left.
here. Left. Probably just goes over and left. And probably runs over and I was able to heal her. So excited. The one quick skull that actually worked, even though this one just failed.
Smile, give you a clap on the shoulder. That you did.
Galaran's gonna wander over as well, and he's gonna sit down and just kind of wait for whatever sales pitch is going to be brought.
Absolutely. Jork, do you come
Yeah.
over and join the massive adventures?
Yeah, he gets up, he lights the Molotov on fire, he walks over, and he throws it as hard as he can at the troll as it falls. And then he walks over here, and then he's like, I also took out the the troll.
I was picturing him sitting there after it ended, and he's got it like kind of ready to throw, and then just goes like it's already lit on fire. He just goes, oh, turns around and just throws it over his shoulder into the portal.
Oh, that would have been better.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was so disappointed he didn't get to use it that he just threw it at the troll falling through the ground.
Hey, Fluffy's happy one of her skulls actually worked.
All right, so Bola's going to gather you around the table at this juncture. Did we just... Oh, there he is. Gary, I'm going to have a little interlude with your moment here.
One time, my microphone hasn't been working.
Oh, no.
It's trying to say, oh, glorious Savannah, what is happening with Gary?
Yep, I just wanted to make sure that we had gotten most everybody in one spot. But Gary, I'm just going to, I guess, reveal my area. This just like little strip area. Can everybody see this area over here now?
I don't.
I don't know why that is. That's...
I only see the bar.
Let's see. Is that not changing anything?
Oh, I see something now. I see a
The
bandit.
map looks the same to me.
Alright. I'm trying.
Hang on, let me refresh the page.
I see a bandit on the top.
Yeah, it's not revealing.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Okay. I don't know why that was such a pain. My roll 20 is starting to get a little slow. Probably overloading it a little bit, but we'll kind of use this path as a scale of what's going on. We won't go too in depth because I know we're getting close to the end of our session. But Gary, if you want to make a couple choice rolls, I'll see if you catch up to them or not. So, do you want to make me a? Let's see.
Well, the fact Gary knows the street's going to be clear because it's a kobold. It sounds like fun. The steps running through the streets, but this is what actually matters.
Yes, and I will say it's pretty late at night, so it's not like there's any massive crowds regardless. So If you want to go ahead and
hopefully see Gary and hopefully nap little goals. Just tell
well,
me when we no.
yeah, let's I'm gonna have you do 3 athletics rolls, and I will oppose 3 athletics rolls, and whoever gets the best out of 3, or the
Reminding
better
you
of the 3.
though, those 2 are carrying the other guy.
Correct. There's
The guy
actually
who actually tried to lift his father the other night, trust me when I say a dead weight is a dead weight. It is not easy to carry a person.
Can I just say one thing? I love how they left this guy unconscious on the table.
Yep.
Only cared
Nab
about the
the
dog.
boss.
Yeah.
It's like
They,
leave the other guy, but pick the boss.
So I will say there are 3 of them right now currently carrying. The man who's prone is helping. So, but they nope, there's 3 of them. Only one of them officially went down. One was just prone. The other 2 ended up being able to dash. But they're kind of
Left, then the other 2 were carrying the first guy.
so they're manhandling. And he's they're thunking his head along the way, so he'll end up probably worse than he was. But they did
He'll
also get a
probably end
head
up with
start.
severe concussion. They'll probably end up with severe concussion and crippling pain.
Very possibly. Very, very possibly. So they did get quite a good head start. But I'll give you the chance to make 3 athletics rolls. If they beat the DC, or if the majority beats the DC versus theirs, we'll say you catch up. If not, we'll say that you lose around each corner. We'll let the dice decide this one.
24.
All right. Also.
24.
All right. Well, that's good enough for me. I'm not going to move us all around the map, but we'll say that with a relative amount of ease, you catch up to them and are able to apprehend them. And they're too tired to fight. They say, you know what, fine, you want him? You got him. And just as you're able to grab him, he kind of thunks onto the ground as they start moving in the other direction and backing off, like you don't do anything to me. We'll
Gary
just
is
let this
still
happen.
wielding the Hell's Sword, so if they would know after what he told them that if he hits them, they would die. So, also the fact he's just taken down the giant, so Gary's just going to chuck him some rope. Right, tie yourselves up.
Alright, well, they go ahead and do that and take the liberty to tie up their unconscious boss anyway. And you have the chance to call a guard over.
Oh, no. Gary said tie yourselves up. As in all 4 of them. He's pointing his sword at them, threatening them if they don't tie it.
Yeah, they do so and take the chance to tie up their old boss man. So, yes, if you want to
Gary
use
will then need to call the guard over.
Alright, so a couple members of the city guard, 3 of them to be exact, come over and they take a look at the work you've done and start taking your report. If you want to give a brief report.
Gary would just tell them to just go and check out the yawning portal and they'll probably just see the full story. Also, they were assaulting a young lady who, I believe, said something about being murdered.
Alright, well, they take the story, the information, they decide that they'll go speak with Durnan in the morning, and they offer you a gold reward of 50 gold.
Thank you, Gary would take the 50 gold.
Alright, and then I assume you move back towards the Yawning Portal yourself, or?
Yes, once they are bringing... There is one quick thing, though. You know this guy here, Mr. Tattooed guy? Is that a pendant around his neck? I can't tell if it's a pendant or some, just a religious symbol.
Let me blow up his, it's looks like a silver chain or a brass chain dipped in silver.
Yeah, no, I thought it was some sort of religious symbol, because if it was, I was going to take it off him to deserve it.
Got it. Yeah, no, if you blow up his token for a second, it's kind of just
it's fine, it's fine. I was just saying, if it was a religious symbol, I didn't think Gary would believe it deserved it.
Oh, no. But, yes. Alright, so we'll have you make your way back to the portal, and then you see your group of compatriots meeting at this table near a fellow who you might recognize, especially given your travel and the renown of Bolo.
Gary would take out a small little device and summon a book as he's getting his signature. He's getting Bowler to sign it. You have to remember, Gary's dimension hoppers. They have the collection.
All right. So you go ahead and you can approach the group and get settled and.
Isn't that the device that got broken?
Oh no. That was my dimension hopper. Technically, what I also have is my background. Basically, it's called the finest tinkering ever. Basically, it's my finest invention. So basically, it's just my little
Okay.
All right. Well, Volo kind of gathers everybody close, and he
Gary
brings.
would wander over this book,
Volo takes great pride, and he plucks his finest quill from his bag, and takes out this luscious, beautiful royal purple ink, and he goes ahead and he opens the inside cover and he signs the whole page, taking up the whole space of his name. All right, and he scribbles real small, Citadel of Gary's, because it barely fits underneath his whole name of a signature.
Oh, I already knew it was an asshole when it comes to being fake. In fact, so basically, for those who don't know, the Citadel of Gary's is Gary's home place in the astral plane. They have a library, and it's basically 90% first editions. But each Gary has his own personal copy of it. That's Gary's.
Well, as Floon goes ahead to sign. Oh, sorry.
No, once the signs of Gary is very thankful.
All right. Well, as Volo kind of shuts the cover after making sure the ink is dried and passing it your way, he says, "Friends, I've already introduced myself to some of you, but I'm Volo Themp, get armed to be exact, chronicler, wizard, and celebrity. To make your acquaintance. Well, if you recognize me, that is one of my more common claim to things. But I'm working on some other work, so keep your eyes out at the local bookstore. But I hope that I haven't called upon you guys in too late an hour. But I am incredibly impressed with the ways that you handled the violence that's happening here. Not only did we see a fight break out between some of our finer folk in the city. He says that with a long draw of sarcasm, but he continues and says, and that vicious troll, man, I haven't seen that kind of action come out of the Undermountain in, well, since my days as a young adventurer. So I fear that there's a lot of violence going on, and I haven't seen so much blood since my last visit to Baldur's Gate. But amongst this madness, I seem to have misplaced a friend. His name is Floon Blagmar. He's got more beauty than brains, to be certain, but I worry he may have taken a bad way home a couple nights ago, and, well, he was probably kidnapped, or worse. If you agree to track him down with all due haste, I can offer you 10 dragons apiece now, and I can give you each 10 times that when you find Floon. May I prevail on you upon my hour of need?" And he kind of gestures out, and he brings his bag over his shoulder and kind of jingles it, and you hear the clank of gold coins.
I was gonna say, Fluffy probably looks over after seeing Gary has returned, kind of looks at him and be like, "Are we gonna go?" She looks real excited. She's like, "Are we gonna go? Are we gonna go?" Not saying anything, just staring at him, kind of bouncing a little bit, like, "Are we gonna follow him?"
Don't get me wrong, everybody. I'm not one to turn down money, but. And I looked Volo square in the eye. What exactly would have gotten this guy kidnapped?
Yeah, describe DeLong's gonna go. Yeah, describe this place.
Well,
I'm gonna need a bit more info.
we may have been doing some drinking and merrymaking at the Skewer Dragon. Not the finest place for any young person in Waterdeep to find themselves on a weekend. But I will say that it is a dark and bawdy tavern, and there might have been many a maiden that could have distracted me that night, as as well as trying to work on my new book. But I have to be honest with you, I'm a little embarrassed that I may have been the one to get my friend in trouble.
I'm sorry, DM. Can you give me the name of that pub one more time?
Absolutely, that's the Skewered Dragon.
Dragon. And the gentleman who we're supposed to be looking for?
His name is Floon, Floon, and his last name is Blagmar, Blagmaar. I will go ahead and I have some notes that I've taken as well, and I'll upload them and send them out to the group between now and the next session. That should give some of the key locations and information. But
and I'm not going to make you describe him now, but just to include a brief description of the gentleman, please, when you send out those notes.
Well, I can absolutely do that, but Volo is happy to. Oh, Volo is happy to describe him for you. He wants to give you all the information that you need. So.
I'm like cutting out, but Gary was trying to say, this guy is famous. It's like the fact he's wrote more books. Technically, I know books he hasn't even wrote yet.
And I'll just sneer and I'll be like, and I'll just say, so Xanathar, but I don't want to go messing with him.
I wouldn't mind meeting him as well, actually. I still need his book.
If Fluffy kind of just holds her head and looks at the guy that's been talking, has absolutely no idea who he is.
Okay, Fluffy. Gentleman who wrote Guide of Monsters. Heard of that?
If she thinks it for a second, then she says, the book with all the pretty pictures in it, of the beasties?
Yes, bestiary.
He says that very same one, and if you watch out in the next few suns here.
He's literally holding the book in his hand.
Well, Volo
I
kind of.
think he's more paying attention to the person that's talking.
Volo kind of, he glances up at the group and he shines a bright smile and he says, well, in the next couple rotations around the sun here, you will see another of my new books coming out. And Gary, was it? If you say that it's going to be a success, then I'm quite excited. It's going to be Volo's Guide to Spirits and Specters.
Yeah, real quick while he's doing that.
Yeah.
Being a blood hunter, I would probably be very familiar with this book if I'm not mistaken, right? That would make sense.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like I feel like this is like a Bible of a blood hunter, so you probably
Yes.
they're probably very familiar with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a slight. Oh yeah. Now I have a quick quick one here. Remind me, it's the time travel thing. You're not meant to tell people information about the future, correct?
Are you asking in character or out of character?
Yes, Gary is asking that in character.
He says, you're right, don't tell me, I'll come upon it on my own. And then he kind of quickly moves on and he says, now back to the business of...
I know the book is actually never finished.
Well, he continues, Volo says, back to the business of Floon, I really need you to help me find him, so with my writer's skill, I know I'll be able to describe him with excellence, but I'll also provide you with this beautiful drawing, photo done by a late friend of ours. And he hands you a photo, and it's a handsome human male in his early 30s with wavy red blonde hair. In the photo, he's dressed in nice princely garb, and Volo says that he's dressed in something very similar the night that they went missing, or he went missing. And he looks like just a fine young noble from Waterdeep.
Fluffy's gonna tilt her head and look at this, and she just asks, like, out loud in general, this place is a city, don't they have, like, guards you can go to?
Well,
It's complicated. Guards are, for a lesser sense, they're more interested in stopping find and get, a result.
If she looks even more confused, isn't kidnapping someone a crime?
Volo kind of interjects and he says, I think, to put it into perspective, Floon would not want this to be public in any sense of the word, and Water Davians are well known for their ability to start rumors and continue them. So I am trying to keep this out from the public eye as much as I can, because I know that's what my friend would have wanted. It's not becoming of him or his family.
You would rather us find him without a fair maiden being on his arm.
That's going. If I may, that would lead me to three questions that I don't know if are in everybody's mind, but that might put me at ease. Which is he associated with one of the families, or is he just?
He's just a noble. You wouldn't. The Blagmar name is not. I mean, well known enough. Major
in
merchants.
Waterdeep, yeah, he's not.
Yeah, major merchants in the area, or kind of the owner of a few major merchants, mercantile ships, but not a noble family per se.
Passing through, not a Waterdeep, not a member of the Waterdeep.
Yes.
Okay. And how circumspect would you want us to be with this mission? Are we trying to? Are we able to get this on the? Do we need how much involvement? Like, say, should we keep guards out of it totally? If we need help from guards, are we doing? How much of an embarrassment would it be?
I think what he's saying is, as long as his friend's name isn't mentioned.
I think that it comes to whatever cost it must, but he certainly should not have been of the Skewer Dragon that night. That's really not the locale that he wants to keep up with. So keeping the details out of the name and keeping out the fact that he may have been drunk and gambling and gotten himself into the situation is important. If you must ask for help and information, I think that's okay. But the city guard do happen to like taking down folks who would certainly be able to pay the money to free themselves, if you know what I mean.
To be honest, I will say this. I have met fellows of nobility and those of higher celestial, and trust me, everyone at some point gets themselves caught up in something, and normally it involves debauchery, alcohol, and a naked woman. So it's not like it's the first person to get caught with this.
DeLauren's gonna kind of slap the table. Also, did you want me to describe what he looks like? Because I haven't done that yet.
Yes, please. We never did official descriptions. Yes, if you want to go ahead, describe what he looks like, give that information, and then I'll have Steve do the same for Oliver.
So DeLauren is handsome. He has very pale skin. He has scars pretty much all over his arms. His arms are sleeveless. He's wearing scale mail armor, but it's very tight fitting to his body. But his arms are uncovered. And you notice there's a lot of scars kind of all over his arms. His eyes are like a cat yellow. They're very you notice that they kind of glint in the right light too. He has very dark hair and a dark beard, more stubbly than anything. But he also has a white streak going through his hair. But he's very young. You can tell he's a half elf, but he's very young looking. So the white streak is kind of out of place. You don't know, you don't know if it's wrong with it or not, but it looks natural. It's not like it's that. He's a very well built. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's very tall. And he's built very sturdy. He's a very muscular guy.
Very nice. Thank you for the description. I like the direction you went with some of those descriptions and the features. That's cool. All right, Steve, do you want to describe Oliver for us?
Oliver is a human in his mid-20s. He's wearing the clothing style of this part of the world. Underneath, unseen is his leather armor. Both his features and clothes are unremarkable, which serves him well in his kind of work. And that's it.
Oh, also, DeLauren does have a medallion that's in the shape of a falcon's head that he's wearing.
Very cool. All right. Well, our two new friends who are now bound by the shed of troll blood Volo looks at you and he nods his head and he says to himself, "Yep, this will do. This group will do. So please meet me back here. I should be here every night for the next 10 days. If you can please find Flume with all due haste, I would really appreciate it. Please meet me back here, and I promise you your reward 10 times what I give you tonight." And as he says that, he goes ahead and he hands you each 10 dragon pouch, so 10 gold. If you want to go ahead and add that.
And did he take back the picture he showed us of the flume?
No, he'll give that to you to keep. So if one of you wants to add that to your inventory.
If Fluffy, did he give everybody one or just one person one?
Just one copy of the photo. He's not carrying around like cool pictures of Flume. But
Yes, here. Have a headshot.
You said 10 gold.
yes, 10.
So who is going to be carrying the gold? It's not the gold. It's her.
We each get their own. Everyone gets their own, I think. But I'll add the picture to my inventory.
Let me, I'll get you a physical handout for that.
Okay.
Oh, after Xenophar is gone, Gary will take out the pouch. So technically, I need to discuss something. The guards kindly gave me 50 gold for capturing the 4 idiots. But technically, nobody else chased after them but Gary. So the question is, who gets the gold?
I don't really care. You want to keep it.
If Fluffy without hesitation just holds out her hand.
Well, technically, we all did beat the shit out of them, so I would say it's fair enough to, you know.
I mean, I'm not trying to like get out of the 10 gold, but I let mine run away. I could have knocked him out. I was about to knock him out, but I let him run away.
Also, remind me, raise your hand. Who was the one who let the guy out the door?
Nobody raises their hand.
I saw somebody let one out the door.
Fluffy kind of smiled and was like, "Oh, I healed somebody."
Fine, me and Fluffy just...
Total himbo energy. But yes, so that's the portrait. That's the portrait that Volo hands you to keep in your records, so you can compare, faces. So I'll go ahead and throw that.
Fair enough.
So at this point, no, I was just gonna say Volo gets up from the table and excuses himself, and he says, "Just remember, you have the 10-day. After that, I leave the city. But any time, any night in the next 10 day, meet me back here for your reward." And with that, he walks out the door.
I nearly have enough gold to get my
All right. So with that,
So you can
I'll
give me 25 gold.
Yes, you get 25 gold.
I'll look over and at the 2 new, and I'll just say the 2 new members and just state I've met the rest of these characters, and provide and introduce myself. This I'm going to just make this protracted. My character, as we're going on a time crunch, I am a drow who is dressed in a pretty much sleeveless cloak with hand wraps and a hooded vest with, you can see, a couple of daggers, baggy pants, sash style belt, wearing a cloth eye patch with a symbol on it. I'll let you guys figure out if you guys want to do a religion check, you can figure that out. We'll go from there. And with alternating black and white wooden prayer beads around his neck.
Are you talking to me? Like
I was talking to the new guy, so you guys had so that would have been Yes, Steve. I'm still trying. Noah?
Noah, yep, that's my name.
I'm horrible with names, great with faces, but since we don't have faces here, I.
You
I'll
can just
pick
call
up
me
on it
by. You can
eventually.
just call me DeLaren if you want. I'll answer for
Yeah.
it. So I'm kind of just not the
I can
intro.
So Fluffy noticed people doing introductions. Granted, the first time introduction, she was very quiet because just dropped into an unknown place,
Quite literally.
got swords thrown in her face, then was sitting and talking and drinking her juice. She raised her hand and she's like, "I'm Fluffy," and Fluffy is about a 7 foot tall. Forgetting race name.
Purple.
You were a purple.
Purple, and so she is a light blue that is very fluffy, but you can notice she is possibly like a young adult, late teens, young adult, and her clothing seems a little weird because it's a mismatch of places she has been on the journey with Gary, and she has feathers sticking out of her back. If you can see behind her back. No, there's probably a fire feather in there. There's so many feathers. She's making like a little crown of feathers. She also has flowers and leaves and sticks in her hair. You can tell she's very naturey. So let's see, religious symbol. But she's a cleric, but I don't know of the nature god she is worshiping. But yeah. Alright.
I guess we'll finish off with our last two folks if you want to do a character description. I know Gary has become quite well known throughout this session, but if you want to give us your description, that'd be great. No Gary description.
I think it's my dad.
Huh. Yeah, it's a little faint, but it's okay.
Hang on, is that better?
Yes.
So the best way to describe Gary is the fact that as soon as he walked back in, you knew he was here because he is heavy. Despite being light framed, he is rather heavy because he is actually a Warforged gentleman. But as you can see by the picture, he is rather mechanical in nature. Also, he has quite a few weird gadgetry and technology
Very nice. And then lastly, everybody's favorite hero, or non-hero of the evening, Jorik.
It wasn't my fight. You had it. Yeah, Jorik, he about average height, 5'7" ish. A bit thinner than humans should be. Fetchling. Yeah. Looks malnourished, anyways. Completely wrapped in black. Got a black face covering and hood. What skin you do see, he's got, it's like pale grayish, like death colored skin. And his eyes, he, instead of his eyes white, they're sort of like a moonlight blue, with a slight glowing ring outlining his irises, which are just black, and they sort of like merge with his pupils, so you can't tell where his pupil end and his irises start.
Very spooky. I like it. All right. Well, now that we all know what each other looks like, I always think that's kind of like funny / awkward / fun part of the beginning of campaigns is like, who are you again? But with that, Durnan comes over and he takes the you know the empty cups away from you, assuming you've all finished your beverages, and well, he catches it in the air and he says, "Greatly appreciated," and then he offers you all a room for the night, free of charge, seeing as you just kind of saved the interior of his bar.
I'll be back in the morning and meet up with everybody for breakfast. I have to go back to New York. Let them know I'm going to be AWOL for a while. Or I could do that and then come back for the evening.
All right, whatever you decide.
I'll do that. Come back for the evening. Let the DM know. Yeah, let the order know that I've found lodgings and I'll be away for a while.
All right,
and I'll also drop 7 gold there too.
Well, he nods your way and he shows you where your rooms are, and says he appreciates you again and says if you need to use this as a sort of base while you're doing this work for Volo, he thinks that he can make that work for you guys. And with that, I will let you all get your bearings for the evening, and you can go ahead and take a long rest if you've taken any damage. I don't know if many of you have or any of you have, but recover any slots or anything.
I'm recovering 1 dagger from the order.
So yeah, if somebody can just winch me down, then I'll go grab me dagger.
We'll assume somebody's there to do that, but it sounds like he's
No
getting
worries.
one from
I
the
got
supply.
one.
Yeah, you get an extra one either way. Plus, technically, Flippy can come with me. She's never been to the Underdark.
I don't think Fluffy wants to go in the very deep dark hole that
Fluffy,
just
I've literally
monsters
taken you
came
to
out
hell.
of.
I literally took you to hell one time and you weren't
She kind of leans over the edge, carefully looking down into the black abyss. She shakes her head now. Is like, you can get the dagger yourself.
Fluffy, I promise it's safe.
A giant troll just.
I scoff into my beer here listening to this.
Literally, Fluffy, we went to hell and it wasn't this bad.
All right. While you guys are arguing about this, we're gonna do a TV moment and fade to black, and we are gonna call the session there with about 7 minutes to spare. So
Huzzah.
we'll assume. All right. We'll assume everybody goes and recovers their sleep and able to count your money and get your bearings. But
Gary will get you your dagger back so you get some extra dagger.
But officially, starting in the next day, you have 1 10-day, so that's a week, but really 10 days in the Forgotten Realms, to go ahead and find Floon and return to recover your reward from Volo. And that's where we will begin next session, is by you guys can determine how you want to go about doing that with the information that Floon gave you. Or Volo gave you.
I feel that going into the tavern, beating some people up and breaking their fingers to get information.
I will let you stew on that and discuss it very first thing.
I'm kidding.
All right. Well, before you guys get too deep into plotting how you're gonna do this, I am gonna end the session here. With the last 5 minutes, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you need clarified from this previous session?
Have you ever been DM'd by a guy named Talon? That is the exact same question he asked in this game.
No.
It's one of the very common questions.
I know, but it's in that exact order, in that exact manner of, how you said it. It just sounds just like how he says it.
But you did a great job. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And yeah, awesome.
Agreed.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, I'm glad everybody's enjoying. That's definitely a relief. I had a lot of fun. So.
I do have a question.
Sure.
What is the final disposition of the guy that I had kind of like tacked to the table and we just kind of left him there?
He's unconscious, and if you care to do anything with him before Durnan gets to him, Durnan is just gonna take the knife out, give him a quick little heal, like a bandage around the arm, and throw him out into the street. So.
I was gonna say on my way, I'll drop him off afterwards.
All right. Well, that works for me, and you will say that the guards give you 5 gold for your returning
Sure.
in,
You
and
will do that.
we'll go ahead and call it there. So, all right. Thank you guys. We'll start fresh next Monday. If anybody has not figured out their magical item yet or anything like that, we can have a chat. Fluffy, I have an idea of how you can get that item, so
Yeah.
we'll try and incorporate that next week. So technically it's not your
Yeah.
possession now, but my plan is to give it to you next week. So
Yeah, that's why I told you about it, and I'm like, for the patches, I kind of like the idea of like the patches are faded or dirty, and as things come around, maybe starting of games, I can roll like a dice and see what patch I get out of the list you have.
it's the mystery mouse tools, I'm telling you.
I love it.
It is. I love just how it's just set up. It's like we just like brush up against something. It's like, oh, there's a ladder. It's like, what is that? Is that a stick? Why do I got a stick?
All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good evening and that everybody's excited to play the rest of the
You
campaign.
damn skippy hippie.
All right. Have a good night, you guys. Please feel free to reach out anytime in the next week if you have anything that you need.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.
Yup.
Bye, folks. Bye.
Hi.
Well, thank you everybody for joining me, joining us on this adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can come back next week. Thank you for joining Aliavana, Alien Gathering, another TV viewer, Dinking Around, DLOTX, and Impressiona. Thank you for coming, everybody. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.